Bears country. Where is it? You down with BCP? You down with BCP? You down with BCP?
You down with BCP?
You down with BCP?
You down with BCP?
You down with BCP? You down with BCP?
Better.
I'm just so happy to be here. I've got a bunch of shit going on in my real life, and now I can just come here and complain about the Bears.
Yes. Let's start off with that, Dan. Can I start complaining first?
Please.
It's not about the Bears. It's about my dog. She scratched her eye in the yard somehow. A thorn probably on a raspberry bush or something. And it turned into an ulcer. And they made a serum out of her blood to give her eye drops. And she's going on 12 years old now. She's, been in perfect health her whole life, aside from many accidents. She's a very expensive dog. But it turned into an ulcer on her eye. And she's been we have to give her eye drops 3 eye drops, like 3 times a day. I have to literally hog tie her down on a chair and like hold her snout down and like smooch her so she and like maybe even like so she can smell my breath. It just gets her mind off of it. So my wife can open up her damn eyeball and put these drops in her eye. And then she has to wear a cone because she wants to scratch it. So it's just been this. So the specialist here, she couldn't see them for like 3 weeks. So we decided to go. For anyone that doesn't know, I have, I'm not even showing my own camera. Anyone that doesn't know, we inherited my wife's mother's house. It's a modular home in Florida. So we could get her in to see a specialist there today. And she wanted to go back there anyways. So we decided to go there Saturday. We drove there 7 hours. We got all set up and everything. And we had the appointment today at 1:30. And then this fucking hurricane comes along and decides it wants to fuck everything up. So we had to pack everything all up because it's a modular home, and there's like different sections, A, B, and C. They say if you're in the A section, it means you're going to get the strong storm surge. So it's a mandatory evacuation. So they mandatorily evacuated us. Luckily, right when we were like packing and about to leave, because I made the call earlier in the day, like, we're getting out of here. This is not going to happen. If we lose power, we can't work. We can't do anything. So we left. So she's been like upset at me all day that we made the wrong decision because it kind of is going a little more north and it might have missed us. But the point is they evacuated us. So now my poor dog is back to like not being able to see a fucking doctor again for like until September 11th with this eye that's like turning, it's getting bad. So we don't want her to go blind. And so we had to turn around and come back here, and now we're gonna have to like maybe even go back there next weekend, assuming everything is okay in Florida, so she can see her specialist even sooner than she could here. So what the fuck, man? They overcharge you for all these vet bills, and yet they make it so difficult to see them. It's mind-boggling. I'm sure you know that with cats, like it's the vet bills can get astronomical sometimes. And when you love your animals, you want to like do everything that you can for them. And literally now we couldn't, because here we are with my poor dog going all the time and my wife freaking out. And yet I still managed to do a show with Sean Salisbury earlier today to promote PSF and get his take on Justin Fields and the quarterback position. He talked a little bit about Tyler Bagent too. While I was in the truck, and my wife is driving the whole time. She's a saint. Thank you, Kitty, for driving so I could do that. And yeah, I finally made it home just in time because I had the other show with Sean today that I had to do in the truck. And I was like, well, if I have to do this in the truck with Dan tonight, so help me God, it's going to happen. And so here we are, Dan. And that's my story of my shitty weekend/day. Do you have anything you want to add to that in your personal life? Or you just want to like...
I could take up the rest of our time with personal life stuff. Let's just talk Bears, man. And I hope your dog's going to be okay. If I could, I don't know, maybe you already have this. There's a thing called a care credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's called care credit. That helps finance, pet surgeries and stuff.
Yeah, strangely enough, we looked into that when they were puppies and we're like, not worth it.
It is. If the bill exceeds $250, you have 6 months to pay it without any interest whatsoever. Thankfully, I got mine paid off. I'm down to like, I don't know, $60 on it or something because I had to have, operation on my cat and a couple other things. Plus, you can utilize it yourself if you have dental problems, or you can use it at a dentist office, or even for your glasses too. You can use it for dental and vision and for your pets. It's a total win-win.
You can use it for yourself?
Yes, I used it for my root canal earlier this year. Between that and my cat having to have surgery, I've got it all paid off down to about $60 now.
Wait, what is that called?
Care Credit. Synchrony is the company that does the financing behind it.
Got it. Thank you. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, you could get approved today. Like, you can utilize it before you actually receive your card too. Yeah, so if your dog's bill gets high, that'll take care of it, man, for real.
This dog got hit and run over by a truck when she was about 1.5 years old. She was in an oxygen chamber for 2 days with a collapsed lung, in ICU for like 3. She's like a $40,000 fucking dog, Dan.
I understand. I love my cats too.
She's like the dog in Marley and Me that just, she's not like rambunctious.
Comparison, Marley and Me, the dog died.
Well, she's not rambunctious like he is. She's not like but she's always like, she's the dog that constantly gets herself into some kind of trouble and ends up costing us money because it's a vet bill. Anyway, dude, let's stop talking about my damn dog. Dan,
I appreciate the fact you love your dog, though, by the way. Let me just say that.
Yes, like they're our children. So
absolutely.
How are you feeling tonight, my friend?
I am worried. I'm pensive is my favorite word for this. And I read stuff on Twitter, and every Bears fan that, like, if you say like, I'm concerned, they immediately say, it's just the preseason. What's wrong with you? You meatball and all this stuff. Man, fuck you. It's like, okay, imagine your trip. For example, you were going 7 hours. You got tunnel vision. You're like, I got to get out of the storm. What if you started having vehicle problems along the way, but you were just like, oh, don't care. Nothing matters until I get to Georgia. That's my destination. Whatever happens along the way, I'm going to ignore. That's what we're supposed to do when these fans yell at us and say, it's just a preseason. You overreact. You're a typical Bears meathead. And I'm so tired of that shit. Look, here's what I saw Saturday. I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan. On Saturday, I saw the starting defense sans our safeties, which is important, I admit. But, I mean, most of the defense was intact, and they gave up another drive to start the game like they do every game. They could be playing the 72 Dolphins or the winless Lions of 2008, and they give up a touchdown seemingly on the first possession, regardless of who they're playing. So that apparently isn't changing. And then we cheer Justin Fields. We talk about he could have 4,000 yards, and maybe he still will. But then he comes out looking like dog shit. Like bad throws. Even the one that was completed was all on DJ. It wasn't a good throw by Justin. And it's just like, when does Justin step up, man? Like, I've been defending Justin since draft night, I feel like. The same way I did Jay Cutler. And it's just like, at some point, we need to see, it's only a preseason game. I get it. But it's a test. And he looked bad again. The defense looked bad again. The offensive line, of course, is abysmal, like every season since 2006.
What do you mean again? He looked bad again.
He looked bad. He hasn't come out like I love Justin Fields. I have 4 jerseys of Justin Fields, but when has he had the game passing the ball that we're all waiting for? I'm a chronic Justin Fields excuse maker. I make excuses for all the lines bad. He has no receivers. I did the same shit for Jay Cutler. At some point, he has to come out and play well. And I don't mean just by running, because then you're feeding into the narrative that he's just a running quarterback.
Can I make it?
Let me just say one more thing and I'll shut up. I'm not one of these guys who says start Bajent. That's crazy. I'm not saying, in my opinion, that's crazy. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying the whole thing Saturday was extremely deflating for me. Overwhelmingly deflating, but please go ahead.
To what you were saying, if you take away, there was plenty of games last season where he was driving the ball down the field and even in his rookie year against Pittsburgh.
I was at that game.
Kind of shit. Wow, that's awesome. There's always some kind of shit that has taken away his like moment drive. Like that Steelers drive was amazing. There was another one in that year. You probably recall it. I can't off the top of my head right now, but there was several in last season too. They had driven the ball down the field against the Packers and couldn't fucking score on the goal line. They had done it multiple times against the Commanders. Like it seems like it was almost conspiratorial that they, all the hits that were taken on him on the slides that they never called, all the quarterback hits that he's taken in the pocket that should have been called that weren't. He said it himself. We've all seen it before. So is there like a little bit of just maybe, the bias, the shit that's been given against him from the NFL for whatever fucking reason? They took away several wins.
I agree with all of that.
I do. All up, would you feel differently?
At some point, he's got to perform, man.
But listen, let me ask you that question: if they added if you add up all the wins he should have had that were taken away from him, would you feel differently? Would you not have said that previous statement?
That's a big if. That's a very large if. Yeah, I mean that changes the whole narrative if he suddenly got, like 6 comeback victories. But the fact is he doesn't have them. And I love Fields. I do. Like I said, I keep telling you, I've got 4 jerseys. I got the orange one, the throwback, the traditional white, and the navy. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Having said that, I'm not just pointing at Justin here. The whole team Saturday, it looked like, oh my God, has there been any progress this entire summer? This looked like the 2022 Bears. And I've got my hopes up, Jack. I'm going to that Packers game, and I spent, $700 to buy those tickets. So I've got my hopes up, and I feel like I was already worried for the Green Bay game, because until you beat the bully, you haven't beaten the bully, regardless if Rodgers is gone or not. And now, they cut Leatherwood. It's just like, okay, so Kramer's hurt. Lucas Patrick's always hurt. Mm-hmm. And Whitehair, who I didn't have a lot of faith in anyway, he can't snap. He's hurt. So, and then you cut a back. I mean, Leatherwood's not great, but I mean, at least it's a depth piece. Maybe they're looking to claim some people tomorrow when they can. I don't know. But the offensive line seems like it's in total shambles. And the defense, I know it's preseason. I know they played vanilla. But it doesn't matter if it's a playoff game or a regular season game. They always give up points early in the fucking game. And then there's Justin, like holding onto the ball too long. Bad throws. Just, it seems like it's a nightmare that just never ends. And I'm not negative. When we come to opening day against Green Bay, I'm going to be cheering loudly, even if they're behind. I'm not giving up. So anyone that's saying that is wrong. But if that was the test, if that was the SAT to go to college, you failed it. You got to take it again.
I just think that, like I just said, if you take, I know it's an if, and you can't look back at the past because it is what it is, right? But there was plenty of moments that he has shown that he is the man, that have been taken away from him for various different reasons. Fucking Smith, who was it from the guy that we got from the Vikings who fumbled the ball against the Vikings on the
Marset.
Smith Marset. I almost said Najigba. Smith Marset. Yes. the game where Velus Jones muffs the punt, and they lose. He comes driving down the field, and there was an interception at the end of the game. Like, they had that game if he didn't fumble that fucking punt. The game where there was a missed field goal, a point after attempt, and Justin had to drive down the field on that. So there has been several instances that have been proven to us that he can do it. So I understand, you're looking at the preseason and you're saying, I'm not seeing what I want to see because I'm seeing the same thing that I saw last year.
On both sides of the ball, including the offensive line too, by the way, always in flux, always somebody hurt, always something wrong. And even if Justin was playing at the level that we dream of him playing, if those guys up front can't block for him, I mean, then it doesn't matter anyway. He's going to be running for his life.
That's true. That is like the one concern I think we have right now is the injuries to the offensive line. And I think that goes to the point of the show, which is, are you concerned about Green Bay?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think there might be cause for concern about Green Bay because of the injuries. And not only that, but Trevis Gipson now wants to be traded. What? It looked like we were developing this kid to be something pretty good on the defensive line. And meanwhile, the whole time they've been playing him, so many reps in the preseason because it turns out he probably asked for that so that he could showcase his skills to be traded, which he has asked for and they've granted. So now Trevis Gipson is on his way out.
And you're not going to get much for him. Let's keep it real. You're going to get like a 7th round pick, maybe. And why does he have to go? Like, if I'm the Bears, like, I'm not cutting him. Like, even if he's not the starter, I'm sorry. I don't have to release you just because you say you want traded. He showed up in the preseason. We got to give him his props for that. And if I were the Bears, if someone didn't trade for him, then I'm not just cutting him just to cut him. Because who's been ahead of him that's like played so well that forces you to cut him,
Yeah. Let's take a moment
if
here.
If you want a guy on the quote-unquote hits principle to show up and give you effort and all that stuff, he's done it. I mean, that's the justification for releasing P.J. Walker, right? You say, well, the kid outplayed him, so he deserves it. That scares me too. That's another topic. But see Caleb Haney, by the way. But if you want to say the hits, all the effort and all that matters, well, Gibson's earned a shot in the rotation too.
Yeah, I guess. Let's get this to everyone in the chat here. Guys, thanks for joining us. Mark Kazak, Keo Carito, Leo Factor, Cliff Victoria, STC, Retro, AC Adam. Let's see, who else is there? Raging Oracle, great to see you again, man. Demand 1599, thanks for joining us. Who else did I miss here? Let's scroll up a little bit more. We appreciate you guys joining us. You guys are what makes this show go around. So we appreciate you for hanging out with us tonight as we listen to. I love your take on things, Dan, because one of my buddies in here, Steve. Actually, I forgot to address him. Thanks, Steve, for joining us. Steve S, what's up, buddy? Steve S actually has some good takes, and he kind of feels similarly to this as well, like you do. So. You got Green Bay coming to town. You got an injured offensive line. You got a defensive line with one of the best players that so far in the preseason that wants to be traded. You've got the Packers are a stellar running team. They've got a pretty damn good defensive line. Not sure about their secondary as much now, but and you're going to the game. You spent all this money to come to Chicago from Virginia to go watch this game. I can understand West Virginia. Sorry. I can understand your concern. And, you don't want to go to a game.
No, I want to go. I'm going to go. I care. I care regardless. I'm always going to care. I'm never going to tell you. I'm not the guy that's going to say I should be the coach or I should be the GM. I know nothing. I'm just a fan. But I do know this. the one thing that always worked when I was a kid, and I know football is different, but let's just say Ditka just a second. They played the preseason like to get in shape and to create rhythm and fluidity. So when week 1 started, in theory, you're ready. But now we're also afraid of getting hurt or something, that the preseason, even going back to the bald fuck, was just like, it doesn't matter. And wouldn't you like it if I were the coach? I would never be the coach. I'm just saying, I would love it if the coach said, I don't give a shit if we put something on tape right now anyway. Our goal is to use these games to be ready for the Packers. So if that means running a few plays that they're going to see on tape, so be it. Have them stop us. Because it's not like by the time week 2 or 3 comes around that your assortment of plays is already on tape anyway. So I would like to see them use the preseason to get rhythm, to get continuity, to get the line together. Look at the line. Okay, so Braxton Jones, give him all the props in the world. He's been healthy. Knock on wood, he hasn't missed any games. Assuming you have Whitehair at left guard, assuming, I guess, you have Patrick at center, who's played like 2 plays with the Bears and is always hurt. Davis, who knows what the fuck is going on with him? He's like, he signed. He's like, I don't like it. It's too hot out there. I'm not going to practice. Are you crazy? And then our first round pick, he hurt his ankle. So, but you'd like to think whatever the rotation is, you'd have those guys together, playing together. So when it comes week 1, there's some cohesiveness, some rhythm. And even with the defense, it's like, well, our safeties don't play. Our linebacker we signed from Buffalo, it's like, he's got a mystery ailment. He's not really going to play. Ngakoue, he's not really going to play. Just a couple of. So the defense, week 1, they haven't played with each other. So there's no rhythm or rhyme or reason. It's like the preseason is so meaningless, they don't even utilize it for what it was supposed to be for. So now what? And you're on mute, I think.
How can you do that with 2 weeks off between the next game, though?
Well, let me ask you this. I don't mean to answer your question with a question. If you were, let's say Rodgers in Green Bay for all those years, the same system, the same everything, maybe you don't need the preseason as much. This is a 3-14 football team last year. Yeah. So you need to use those opportunities along the way to get better. And now, because the line hasn't played, or maybe it's because they're hurt, but again, Chase is always hurt at wide receiver. There was people trying to say Mooney was going to get traded today. Thankfully, that was shot down. At some point, you got to be able to come out and play as a team. And basically, week 1 is going to look like the team that should have played in the preseason. You know what I mean? It's like, now we got our team together. But it's week 1. It's too important to just come out and start trying shit. You should already be ready to go. You wouldn't take, okay, so NASCAR, I don't like NASCAR, but their first race is Daytona, right? It's a championship, their Super Bowl. You wouldn't just take your car there casually and say, we're just going to figure it out. You work the whole offseason to get that car ready, and that's what we should do for Green Bay. And now at week 1, we're going to come out fucking sloppy, and we're going to have all these excuses if they beat us. And it makes me sick, man. Like, get the team ready.
I love your passion. We have to get to this, Dan. Steve S. has a super chat question. Dan, do you believe in the Bears coaching staff?
Not in Alan Williams, because the defense has been so bad. Everyone will say, how can you say that? They did this, they did that. They played well against. Okay, they did play well against Philly. There are a lot of teams. Like you said, Justin would get the score. Oh, man, the Bears may win this game. They got the score. As soon as Justin would score in the fourth quarter, the defense would give up a 17-play drive every time and allow the other team to score. Whenever they needed to stop, they did not get the stop. So, no, I believe he should have been fired. I believe the defensive line coach should have been fired for all the guys standing on their tiptoes last year like they're fighting with pillows. We criticize our pick from Florida. He doesn't get off the ball quick enough. The whole damn defensive line didn't get off the ball quick last year, and that's on tape. And that's one guy who's coaching that. In terms of Eberflus, it's too soon for me to create an indictment on him, but I know it's very hypocritical to talk about how we've got this hits, but it doesn't really. During the season, you could see people loafing. And it was never enforced. It's bullshit if they say that was enforced last year. But then you say, well, the team was trying to lose, Dan. They wanted the first round. But don't lie to me then about the fucking hit system. They weren't trying to win last year.
You were at the game. You were at that last game when they gave up.
Yeah, they gave when Nathan Peterman was playing well. They're like, holy shit, Peterman might help us win. Bring that kid we signed on Tuesday. I don't know what his fucking name is. We just signed him on Tuesday. Put him in the game. Put him in the game. We can't afford to win this game. And in the end, that was probably the right thing to do. I just, am I worried about the staff? Hell yeah, I'm worried about the staff. I'm worried about everything. And I just, at least I can say that and not feel like I'm going to be attacked, because so many of the Bears fans oh, you're an idiot because this is just a preseason. But if you define the preseason, what is it to do? It's to build your team, to build conditioning, to build continuity, to get it ready for week one. And we just shit it away. Justin didn't even play in the second game. The first game he had 3 throws, and then he looked shitty the other day. So they just didn't take advantage of the opportunity. So if they lose to Green Bay, it's going to be like, well, you know what? It's your fucking fault for just letting the summer just dissipate and not giving a shit. Eberflus. When did football players get so afraid of getting? I mean, I get the concussion stuff and all that they didn't know back then. I'm not saying you've got to show, you can say 3 fingers so you get back in the game, pussy. No, I don't mean that. But they used to have 6 preseason games back in the day, and they played hard. When did we get so afraid to get hurt that they don't even play in the preseason? What's the point of the preseason then? Why not just fucking put those other 9 games, make them regular season games, those other 3, and make them all count if you're not going to do anything with them?
It's true, because they remove the 4th game because of injury concerns, and then they wait 2 weeks to start the season. I mean, it really is 2 weeks if you don't, unless you consider the Thursday night game as the first game. So a week and a half, really, right?
Right.
So now there's that lull between the last time you played in a game and you didn't play that much, in the case of this starting offensive system here with Justin Fields. More than I thought he would, though, I will say that much. But yeah, now you have this lull where now you're going back to practice against your same guys again for, in this case, it works out to be over 2 weeks later for the Bears because they're playing on Sunday as opposed to last Saturday. So I don't know, man. I like the bravado that you bring to this, though, because I think you're onto something with it. Just get rid of preseason altogether with them and just have
if you're not going to use it to as a tool it's almost like, again, I go back to college. I don't mean to keep using analogies, but if you had all this opportunity to study and your big test is week 1, but it's like they fucking just shit away all their time to study. They went out drinking instead. They're flunking out of college right now, and this test is coming up on September 10th, and they're not fucking ready. Now, maybe they still win because maybe they're better than Green Bay. Maybe Green Bay's not ready. Maybe that coach is exposed for Rodgers carrying him the last bunch of years and making everybody think he was a good coach when he wasn't. So all these things could happen. Maybe we beat San Francisco last year. You were there, and the 49ers made it to the championship game. So things happen, but I feel like they're going to have this built-in excuse if they start out slow early in the season. It's like, you didn't have to start out slow. You could have used the summer to get ready, which is what it was supposed to be for. So what are you doing, man?
I have an idea. I have a solution to that problem, Dan. Instead of having preseason games, why don't they just make it to where they have a joint practice against a defined, 3 defined teams, or in this case, there was already 1, so you would add, be 4 defined teams, so that you're actually getting reps against another team that you're not going to play in that season. So
that's not a bad idea.
Right. And then if they wanted to, they could go make it like NFL plus or NFL preseason plus. So you could get the content of just watching the scrimmages. Because there's such money cows. That'd be a great way to just add an additional charge to your NFL package, that if you were that diehard that really wanted to watch that, you would pay for it. Other than that, they don't need to broadcast it, because most people, don't give a shit, for one thing. And the other perspective of people like us that find that we critique what's going on with it, at least in this case, they're not fucking off by only playing 3 preseason games as opposed to 4, like you're saying, because they're doing 4 intra-squad scrimmages for 2 days against these said teams. That actually be a good idea.
And before 78, they played 6, because back then you had 14 games, and they played 6 preseason games, and they cut 2 of those preseasons and made it a 16-game season beginning in 1978. So point is, at one time there were 6 preseason games, and people played. Like, the starters played. They fucking mattered. I know it's a different era. But still, it just feels like the Bears didn't. I'm beating a dead horse, so to speak, but it feels like they didn't even attempt to utilize the time that they had, and that is upsetting to me, because I am someone who comes out here. I feel like to do the Iverson thing now. Come on, man. We're talking about practice. No, but you had 3 games though. The 3 games were your opportunity to prove things. They could have said the same thing last year. Hey guys, remember Nagy used to always say that. Hey, we're looking good in practice. Okay. Well, what are you doing on Sunday?
Well, Dan, here's a question for you. Kyo Carito says the preseason isn't for starters; it's for the backups. If there wasn't preseason, no backups would ever get a chance. It's not a question, but it's kind of a statement to. What do you think about that?
There's definitely some truth into that. Like, Tom Waddle would have never made the Bears had there not been preseason. This kid from here in West Virginia would have never made the team over PJ Walker if there's not a preseason. But at some point, you still have to play your starters a little bit and get them ready. And I understood why they took Fields out on Saturday. I'm not complaining about that. Fuck, if he's going to get hit and they're still not throwing flags, the referees in midseason form there. Fields gets hit, and if that's on Rodgers, that's roughing the passer. There's no call there. And if you're really going to give the job to the kid, of course, at the time we didn't know it yet, then that's the way it is in the regular season. Fields could go down in the middle of the drive, and he has to go in on a moment's notice. So for that, I actually like that in hindsight. Now, I didn't think of it that way when it was happening. I was like, oh, God, is Justin hurt? That's what I thought. I was like, please tell me he's not hurt. So I saw him on the side. Okay, thank God he's not hurt. Then after about 2 possessions, I thought, you know what? That's a good time to put that kid in there. Because in real life, if Justin goes down, it's not going to be like, hey, kid, get ready. You got 5 minutes to go. You're about to go in. It's not the NBA. I mean, like, you're getting ready to check in at the table. Like, if he goes down, it's going to be unknown. So jump in the middle of the drive. He's hurt. So I like that. And, he did look good, even though he had that drop touchdown that led to that interception and all that bullshit. But the kid earned his job here. He's earned it, even though I'm still afraid. I don't think I would have cut Walker. I would have kept all 3.
They saved $2 million.
Well, they ate like 4.5 for cutting Leatherwood, though.
They might bring him back, though. I think. I have a feeling they're going to bring him back.
Leatherwood?
Yeah.
Well, why cut him then? Just for money? I don't know.
They really ate $4.5 million cutting him?
Yeah, dead money.
Oh, Jesus.
Why? It's like, why do that when depth is your problem? I know Leatherwood maybe isn't good enough to start. I get it. But has Whitehair ever been just like, oh, you can depend on Cody Whitehair? You put him at left guard, he's not getting hurt. Jenkins is going to be out at least a month. He's reportedly in a walking boot and still limping badly, per various reports. It's not like I'm in the locker room. So, and then at any moment, Whitehair's kind of old too. He's been around since like Fox was coach. I mean, he could get hurt at any minute. And then suddenly we've got, Carter in there. And that's if Davis is at right guard. Is he ready to play now? I mean, he skipped the entire summer too. It's just like they allowed him to do it. I still, that's a mystifying story to me, that he's just allowed not to practice or anything the whole summer, and they don't even disclose what's up.
Yeah.
So Bears.
Usually in this time, what I like about what Flus is doing with that is that he doesn't have to. So if it's not that bad of an injury, it means he doesn't have to worry you with it. That's how I take it.
Well, that's what they said about Kevin White too.
Well, that was
that whole summer when he's gonna be fine. He's fine. He's fine. You know. Oh shit, he's out for 4 years. Okay, he's gonna be out for 4 years. We knew this the whole time. We just kept lying.
Man, I never liked that pick. That pick just pissed me off from the moment it happened. But then of course I thought, okay, this guy could be the next Fitzgerald. Yeah, he maybe it was the dreads or whatever, but he looked like he was the same, like kind of.
Oh, he's in great shape. His body looks like he's like a Greek god.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just couldn't stay healthy. He had the one catch against New England on that Hail Mary from Mitch, where he about a half yard from scoring. That was like his only big play as a Bear the whole time. It's just, I mean, he's snake bitten. It's not like that's what he wanted it to be, but it's what it ended up being. And the Bears lied about that whole offseason. And Davis, if you saw that presser he had, he kind of was like, I'm paraphrasing. This is obviously not a quote. Guys, I'm fine. Ask them why I'm not playing. That's essentially what he was saying. Like, I'm fine. I'm ready to go, but I can't talk about it. It's just like, why would you? You're going to put a guy out there, even if Davis starts, and you're going to hear, well, he's not in football shape. He's not in football shape. That's why he gave up that sack. That's why Justin took that big hit. Oh, he's tired. Oh, Khalil Herbert, he would have had that was the right call against the blitz. And he caught but Davis let his man go because he's not in football shape. He's tired. It's hot out here today, Dan. It's hot. So what the fuck are we doing, man? Like, how's this guy allowed to take off the whole summer? I couldn't do that at my job, and I'm not getting paid by the goddamn Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Like, this is important. There's only 17 of these games that are promised to us. That's it.
I love your fucking passion, my friend.
Well, think about it. There's no guarantee. How many? We've both been watching the Bears 30 years or so, and the Bears have made the playoffs. We can count on our fucking hands the years they've made the playoffs. We can do it now if you want to. Okay. Let's just say since 1990, 90, 91, 94, 2001, 2005, 2006, 2010, 2018, 2020. 9 times since 1990. 9 fucking times since 1990. So we're not promised anything here.
I remember counting that number before the last 3 with the last 2 with Nagy. I had that number was stuck in my head too, Dan.
We haven't won a playoff game since Jay beat the Seahawks. If you remember, first playoff pass of his career to Greg Olsen, the bomb, touchdown Bears. It was great. Snow was out. We haven't won a game in the playoffs since January of 2011. And it just feels like our coaches continually do the same shit.
Breaking my heart over here, man.
I'm not trying to be negative. It's just like when I watched this, I felt like it was like a dream on loop. Like I was having the same recurring nightmare about the Bears. It's like, dude, I'm 42. I'm going to be 43 this season. I've been watching them since I was a little fucking boy and didn't even have fucking pubic hair yet, for God's sake. Since I was a fucking baby, I've been watching the Bears, and it's been the same shit for the most part, with the exception of a couple of years, my whole life.
Are you worried are you more worried that they won't make the playoffs this season, or that they will end up being one of those typical Bears teams that's a one and done, playoff run team?
I'm worried about in my life, I've always the wins never felt as important to me if my guy wasn't playing. For example, if Tom Zach was in there, like, man, this is a win, but I want McMahon back in there. If Eric Kramer wasn't in there and Steve Walsh was winning, I'm like, man, this would be so much more important if Kramer were in there. It would just like, oh man, I've got to have Rex in there, not Kyle Orton. I've got to have Jay in there, not Josh McCown. Like, we need Cutler to get these wins. And I don't want to do that now. I don't care if Nathan Peterman starts. I want them to win, and I want to be happy because I'm always like wanting the main guy to be the guy, like Justin Fields. I want Fields to be the unquestioned starter. So my biggest concern is Fields comes out playing the way he has shown, and then suddenly the great white hope, people start beating that fucking backup drum. Oh, I think he should be the starter. That's the quarterback controversy I don't need and don't want, and maybe this guy ends up being something. I don't want to shit on him, but he could also be Caleb Haney. Because let's keep in mind, he's played against backup defenses in the preseason who also aren't trying. So, and then suddenly you put him in there, and a Caleb Haney in the most pivotal of moments in the NFC Championship game comes in, never played before, and in replace of Cutler, and then Todd Collins was terrible, so they just like, fuck it, just put this other guy in. Collins is horrible. So, and then he plays decent enough to where you're like, okay, he's the backup now. He's our backup, and then he's just terrible. The Bears are 7-3. Jay breaks his finger against the Chargers, his thumb, and then they lose that. They shit that whole season away because they had a backup in Caleb Haney. All they had to do was win one more game, and they make the playoffs. They went from 7-3 and finished 8-8. And Josh McCown got the win in the last game of the season. Why not play? If you have McCown the whole time, maybe you sign McNabb, who was on fucking Chicago media every week begging to get a chance for his hometown Bears. But no, we've got Caleb Haney. So yeah, I'm worried that Bagent is Caleb Haney. And I don't want a quarterback controversy. I want Justin to be the man, but at the same time, I just want to win. So
Bagent has Caleb Haney has never thrown a ball or moved an offense like Bagent has done, though. I get what you're saying. You don't want him to just. I get it, because let's just I like to pontificate, as we call it here, instead of play devil's advocate. It's pontificate. So let's just say Justin goes down we're struggling in the game, right? Let's say we're 1-2 and we're struggling in game 4. Justin goes down in the second quarter, he misses the rest of the game. Bagent comes in and just throws for 5 touchdowns. I mean, I'm just devil's advocate here, pontificating. And this is the scenario that you're talking about that you do not want. So now we go into game 5 or game 4, whatever, and oh, look what Bagent. You don't want that controversy that a player like that brings.
No,
because he comes along and has a flash in the pan great game. That could be like the Nick Foles game against the Falcons when he came back. It's just a flash in the pan kind of a game. It doesn't mean he can do it again. So you don't want the hopes getting up that this kid is like, oh, he's going to be the next savior when we're supposed to be focusing on Justin Fields being the savior.
Right. Well, I want Justin to be the unquestioned leader to where we can say, all right, we got our quarterback. Let's build around him and stop always feeling like we have to wait and see on him. But in part, that's his fault too, though. Like, read a defense and throw to the right place and not hold the ball too long. And it just, come on, man. Just play good. Just play well. Just get us a victory against Green Bay. Have some good stats. And then let everybody just say he's the guy. That's what I want more than anything, other than winning, is that we can just say Justin's the guy and move on.
I had, like I said, Sean Salisbury was on the show earlier today. We did a 6:00 show for like 40 minutes. It was only supposed to be like 15. It turned out to be 40 because we were having such a great time. And one of the things he was talking about with Justin, he said it perfectly, was that he wants him to play. He wants him to be he said being the game manager. Like, what do you think of when you say game manager? It's like you think of, that's not something that a quarterback wants to be, but you have to be a game manager as a quarterback. So he said, like, basically playing boring football, just play some boring football. Just, get the ball out of your hand, get those quick plays, move the ball down the field, play that boring football, boom, hit them deep. Then you can bring the excitement out once you've basically bored the defense to death. Then you let the other side of Justin shine through to take over the game in other ways that his skill set can do, that very few can. And so the question, I guess, remains is, can he do that? Do you think he can do that? I think he can do that. Can he get the ball out of his hand quick enough to be the boring guy? Like, he used Brady as the most boring example. He just basically, the check down was almost built into the play. Just check the ball down, just bore the defense to death until you can set him up for that big one. Do you think that Justin can do that? Does he have it in him?
Is he capable? I want to say 100% he is capable. And it's like my wet dream for him to show that. and to have 4,000 yards and just to be the guy that I want him to be. But I feel like my whole life, like I said, I'm like, I just want Jay to show that this trade was that we gave up those picks and it was a good trade, and people to get off his back and fuck them with the smoking Jay and all this shit. I want Rex to win the Super Bowl and be the MVP and tell Manning to suck it. I feel like I'm always constantly, we got to win so we can get McMahon re-signed, or even Harbaugh. It's just like shit. Like, I'm tired of having to like wish for something. I want it to manifest now. But could I please comment on something that I think it was Cliff that said it? God, what can you replay his most recent? I think it was about Bajent. No, there was one before that maybe that he had that I was like, I've got to say something about that.
Bajent looks good for a rookie, but he's no Fields.
There was something else. I don't know. Maybe I forgot it, but I wanted to comment on something.
Let's get the retro super chat. Fields the unquestioned leader until 24, 25.
I mean, in theory, it'll be way past that. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
I hope Bajent is just another summer camp like person that we worship. Like, remember it was that Gentry kid, the wide receiver. Before that, every year it was Mike Hass when Lovey was coach. That, oh man, he doesn't drop a pass. Why doesn't he make the team? Like, just the star of camp. Let him be the star of camp. Hopefully, Justin, by week 4, the Denver game, which I'll also be at, hopefully by that game, he's in such a rhythm, we don't even care that Bajent is the backup, But I would have kept PJ Walker because PJ had, that's what I wanted to talk about, Brock Purdy. If I'm San Francisco fans right now, I am fucking furious because, A, think about this. You traded 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance. Trey Lance played against us, the game you were at last year. I know it was raining and all these things that affected him. He didn't look that poor. Like, to me, if the Bears had Trey Lance last year and he was the rookie we drafted, I would have been thinking, this guy might be able to play. He gets hurt in week 2. He's out for the year. So they trade him for a 4th-round pick for a guy that was the 7th-round pick who sustained a major fucking injury in the championship game. So, A, is he, now that there's tape on him, can he do it again in his second year? You'd have been questioning that had he not gotten hurt. And now that he's gotten hurt, can he even come back from the injury? And you just trade this guy who had some potential and you traded 3 first-round picks for? If I'm San Francisco, I'm furious at that because you need Lance. I mean, look, I don't hate Sam Darnold, but fuck, man. If Brock Purdy goes down and Sam Darnold's your guy, he's more than likely not leading you where you want to go. This is a team that's been the title game multiple times, like 2 of the last 3 years.
That's why they got away with that trade.
They're on the cusp of winning or going to a Super Bowl. They lost to KC in Super Bowl 54. So it's like, why would you trade Trey Lance for a 4th-round pick when you don't know? Again, can Brock Purdy repeat it the 2nd straight year, and can he come back from his injury? It's all unknown. There's no way to have a trade Lance. I wish the Bears would have traded for him for a 4th-round pick. Shit, that would have been a great backup.
That kind of goes to Retro's his other $2 super chat. Thank you, Retro, for parity is the NFL's goal. The NFL's goal revenue goal. Sorry, parity is the NFL's goal. Revenue sharing proves it. So parity is kind of just trading him away for nothing to just give him to another team to see what, if he can develop in a way. Kind of to your point. Thank you, Retro. Just wanted to get to that super chat. But you're right. Like, imagine if the Bears, the only reason why they got away with that is because they're still winning. If the Bears made that Trubisky trade and failed, but they were still winning because they had another backup quarterback that they drafted somewhere else that made Trubisky look like shit, nobody would be talking about the Trubisky trade. Right?
Right. I'm just saying in that one game against the Bears, he showed a little bit of promise, and it was his first start ever, and he gets hurt the next week. So at the very least, you've got some tape to say, okay, this guy's got some skill. He's not a bum, and maybe he ends up being a complete bum. But for that one day against the Bears, he had me scared a few times for sure. And then they put maybe Purdy continues to play the way he did last year, and they know something that I don't, which is quite possible. But for me, if I'm a 49er fan, I'm upset about that because if Purdy struggles, I want the guy that at least we traded 3 first-round picks for. And now you've got Sam Darnold.
Because Purdy isn't really the answer, right? Is he?
I don't know. Maybe he is. It's just like last year when Purdy got hurt, they should have broken the glass and had Jimmy G in. But for some reason, Garoppolo was allegedly healthy, but they Brock Purdy. We got Brock Purdy. We don't need Jimmy Garoppolo. He's only led us to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game. So if they have Garoppolo dressed, maybe they beat Philly. Who knows? But they had all their proverbial eggs behind Purdy, and where did it lead them? To a blowout. If I'm them, I'm furious for trading Trey Lance and for nothing, a 4th-round pick. I mean, not to say a 4th-round pick is nothing, but when you traded 3 first-round picks for him, that's nothing.
Right.
Like, I can't believe that we could have gotten in on that, I think, right?
Right? Make him our 3rd stringer?
If I told you that Trey Lance was the backup over the kid, like just 2 weeks ago, just before we saw this, would you be like, oh, that's a step down? To me, that's a huge step up.
Swifty is saying that O-line played really good with 3 starters missing. What did you watch?
What, Saturday's game?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the play where Fields, on a screen, got annihilated? Probably roughing the passer should have been called, but they took him out of the game immediately? Am I the only one that saw that play?
Yes, that's the one that sparked Bajan coming back in. Yeah.
All right. Well, case dismissed.
There was also a couple plays like Swifty saying Fields took both hits on screen passes, one where Tyler Scott didn't run the screen. Tyler Scott was completely fucking confused where he was looking to the 2 receivers to his right, and it got to down to DJ Moore. He's like, I don't know, fucking figure it out for yourself, kid. And then when the play happened, Tyler Scott just kind of ran out. He was on the right side. It was like a trips formation, I think. And Tyler Scott was on the inside, and he kind of just didn't know what to do. And then Justin was supposed to go to him. I think that's the screenplay you're talking about, Swifty. And then Justin just kind of had to bow down and take the sack.
The play limit thing, I don't believe that for 1 minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I had to comment on that. If you believe that that's the reason they took him out, we reached our play limit. It doesn't matter. We're about to score. And that just that massive hit was a coincidence, then I can sell you an air guitar without a case.
That reminds me of a buddy of mine. He told me I worked with him. He's like, man, last night I had a dream that I was teaching an air guitar class. And I just thought that's the most fucking insane dream that I could ever imagine having. Like this. Yeah, no, it's like this, guys. Not like this.
I could see Aaron Mikulski doing that. He's got the beard, just a big Viking with a guitar.
Yeah. Bears,
go ahead.
What's that? I said in BearsCountry Film saying, Dana, on that one, Fields needs to drift a bit more to avoid that hit. A big hit on him as well. I wouldn't expect much blocking on a screen.
Everyone's like, I'm not going to be one of these guys that says I know more than what I know or something to that effect. I'm not going to, because they have dissenting opinions, I'm not going to challenge their integrity or their intelligence. When I watched the game, did I take notes or something to specifically come out and say this sequence versus this sequence? No. But look, the guy playing left guard got cut the majority of the game. Kramer got hurt, and then Dieter Iceland was playing center. Do you really believe you think going in the season Dieter Iceland could be a good center? Like, I'd rather have Sam Mustipher than Dieter Iceland. And I'm sorry, I don't have any faith in Larry Borum either. So if you all think everything's okay at the offensive line, I hope you're correct. That's all I can say.
Steve S. is agreeing with you. Earlier, he said that something about the offensive line. I forgot, I'm trying to find it, but the offensive line is horrible, he said.
I mean, if Patrick can show, because I figure he's going to start at center against the Packers. If he can show why we signed him and stay healthy, maybe Whitehair can play left guard, Braxton can play left tackle, maybe their kid comes in at right tackle, maybe Davis decides he wants to be here for right guard, and maybe they can gel together. But like I said before, all that's a big maybe, and it should be a solidified answer heading into week 1. You should know. It shouldn't be a guessing game going into week 1.
I agree. I do agree with that. You need to know what you have going into the field week 1.
And why wouldn't you run your offense? Just, again, get it in sync. They're like, we don't want anybody to see it on tape.
We don't want the Packers
to see it by week 2. So what difference does it make? Are you really that paranoid that if they know when the end around's coming, or that bubble screen is coming, that, oh my God, we can't win a game unless we disguise that? Just try to get in sync.
Aren't you really that paranoid that we're going to lose this game to the Packers? So wouldn't you agree that you wouldn't want to show the Packers as the first team, all your player,
I want the Bears to be good enough they can say, this is the play we're running, and
fuck
stop
you, we're doing it.
Fuck you, stop it. Here comes Walter straight up the damn middle. 3rd and 8, we're getting the first down. Fuck you, stop it. That's what I want to say. I don't expect them to run 3rd and 8 like it's 1984. I understand that. But I'm just saying, I feel like the Bears should be confident enough to run their shit and just be like, hey, we're going to be better than you, and we're in rhythm and we're ready to go. That's what I want to see. But I'm not negative. I'm not going to go into the Packers game and think that they're going to lose, or if Fields gets picked off, I'm like, see, it's over. I'm not that guy. If they're losing 47-7, I'm not leaving the game until it's over. I'm not quitting. That's like when the Mike Brown games against Cleveland and San Francisco in 2001. I wasn't at those games, but I didn't leave my TV. I didn't quit watching. I didn't give up hope. That's why those comebacks meant so much more to me, because I wasn't a fair-weathered fan, and I'm not now either. But I think there's a lot to legitimately be worried about with the other fans, and I don't mean the guys that's in our chat room. I just meant on Twitter, not even directed toward me. I've seen it directed toward others, where they just shout at people saying it's exhibition, it's preseason. You don't know what you're talking about. And we all have valid opinions here because we're all just fans. We don't work for the franchise. We don't know what's going on. So we're all just giving our best, hypothesis here. And I think it's okay to be critical and scrutinize what they're doing. That doesn't mean I don't care. It means I care, for fuck's sake.
I know. It's especially with the fucking Packers. Retro saying $2 super chat. Thank you, Retro. Bears need to send the house and sink at Love. I'm not sure. I mean, I really hope that would work. Here's my concern, and I'm going to have to stand up for this because listen, Dan. I think we talked about this before. I can handle a loss, okay, but I can't handle a loss at the hands of Jordan Love. If the fucking running game and the defense dominates us, fine. But if Jordan Love is the reason why they beat us by 15 points or more, or even by fucking 3, I'm supposed to do this PSF app thing where I watch the game as a fan on my phone, and I nobody's picked the Green Bay game yet, and I'm kind of terrified to do that because I don't want to show my raging oracle, during the Packers game, but maybe that's what they want. But my point of that is I'm going to be so I'm
going to be frantic too.
Stinks. Yeah.
The worst case scenario is, let's say Fields leads a scoring drive. The Bears have a 2-point lead, or they punt, whatever. And Love goes all the way down the field and leads a winning drive to beat us in week 1 at Soldier Field. And he's going to get all the credit. And then they're going to say the Packers still own us. And now Love owns us. And dude, I feel like I'm going to become a drinker again if this happens.
You're like, I'm going to go. I'm sorry, but this game, I'm going out and buying a bottle of whiskey.
Man, it's tough, man. And they beat us when we thought we were going to the Super Bowl in 2019 on opening night, Bears 100 and all that. And of course, it's Green Bay that beats us. And everyone can say, "Oh, that doesn't matter anymore." The fuck it doesn't. Like, I don't understand the mentality of all these Bear fans that are like, "Oh, the Bears are going to win by 30. It's going to be a blowout." I hope it is, but I don't know where they're gaining this machismo from. Based upon what?
Swifty's saying, breaking news, Bears just traded for guard Dan Feeney.
We need some breaking news. Who is Dan Feeney? Please tell me.
Let's see, Dan Feeney.
Please tell me he's a Pro Bowler or something.
Let's see. Let's go to his.
Please tell me he's not a 7th round pick, a project from somewhere else like Leatherwood. Although Leatherwood was a 1st round pick, but we don't need a project. We need somebody. Is he going to play at right guard because Davis decides he's taking off the season too?
Oh, he's another Illinois kid. He's a 3rd round draft picked by the LA Chargers in 2017. He's 29 years old, and he's from Orland Park, Illinois.
So what'd they give up?
What did they give up? What did they give up, Swifty? 3rd round pick, Walter's saying. 3rd rounder.
Is that good? Is he expected to start? Is he expected to be a backup? Like, was he a starter in San Diego? I don't know. Like, I don't watch enough other teams to know the answers to this stuff. I'm not being rhetorical at all.
They got him from the Dolphins.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he was a Charger. My bad.
So apparently he's been on 2 teams since then. Let's see. So he's 3 teams. No, 2 teams. No, wait.
So is he a left guard? If he's a left guard, maybe Whitehair still is being playing center then. But
yeah,
if he's a left guard, then Jenkins must be really hurt then.
Bears Country breaking news: Bear trade for guard Dan Feeney. Thank you, Swifty, for repeating yourself. Let's see. He was drafted in 2017 by the Chargers. In 2021, he was a Jet. 2022, he was a Jet. So looks like what did he sign with?
Miami, and then was he going to get cut? And we gave up a 3rd round pick for a guy that was going to get cut.
I don't know.
I don't want to be negative.
Backup caliber only, though.
Don't want to be negative. Is he a backup? Is that the goal?
Sounds like it.
For a 3rd rounder? That
3rd round fucking pick? Okay. Hold on a second.
Why do I have to leave? See, tonight's the night I have to work overtime and can't be here and just, as you would say, pontificate about this pick. Like, I don't want to go now. Fuck, I don't want to go focus on 911 or even high school football. And we just traded for a guard that I've been like, please, God, make a move. And they made a move, so I want to know more about it. I don't want to leave now.
Chicago Bears acquired Dan Feeney to trade from Dolphins, according to Jason Sarney. Brad Biggs has confirmed the news. Let's see. What did they get? They really give up a 3rd round fucking pick for him? Dolphins trading Bears. There's no way they traded if they traded a 3rd round pick for him. Foster, you want to hop in here because Dan's getting ready to sign off anyway. Let's bring in Foster. You know anything about this, Foster?
I do.
Oh, hold on. We're on the wrong screen. There we go.
So, anyways, it doesn't say. I've been looking all over for what we gave up. He was a 3rd round pick out of Illinois that Miami traded to the Bears. That's all I know. I've been looking for 2 minutes here. That's why I put it back on the screen. It's just that doesn't say. What I said was, if you look at both of them, he's a 3rd rounder out of Illinois that we got. So I don't know. I've been going through Google. I'm trying to find out. I've been looking at everything. Brad Biggs, all these guys, man. Nobody's saying what we've given up because I don't think they've released it. Anybody else know? Sorry to cut you off, Dan and Dan. Great show, guys.
Thank you.
No, thanks, man. Dan has it hard out in 6 minutes. So
I was gonna put myself in and try to explain it, but I don't want to just do that without,
Interesting.
Well, he's
Raging
somebody
Oracle
just said he
saying
didn't go to Illinois. Now let me pull up the Google again when I Googled it.
Raging Oracle was saying 2022 is a top performer late in the year at offensive guard for the Jets.
Okay.
All right, Aldo tweeted this.
Read the fucking chat.
If I could read this to you quickly, this is what Aldo said under the Barroom Network. If this trade does transpire, Dan Feeney has played 62.4% of his career at left guard, 33.9% at center, and 3% at right guard. So he can play center and left guard.
Yeah. That sounds like a good plan. You know, Poles has got it covered, right?
I hope.
I have faith in him, man.
In Poles we trust, right?
And I just wanted to say, Dan, I was with you on, I even said it a few weeks back. I'm like, replace Borum. Then I started looking at his game film and even some of the practices. He's gotten a lot better than last year. He's losing the weight. Whatever they did with him, it's working. I'm not saying he's a starter, but he's definitely would be a servable swing tackle right now, I think. You know,
well, I mean, I'm rooting for everybody in the uniform.
He just gets that much better. I'm just giving you my honest opinion of it. And I think Dieter's the only guy better on the team than Dieter at center would be Whitehair right now. But now we've got him. So, that's probably why this move was made. Covers a couple bases. You can
Does that mean Lucas Patrick's not playing?
The center when he's healthy, or have him play center now and keep Cody at left guard till
I think Lucas is injured.
Whatever's working out best.
Can I take a quick leak and leave you guys for a second before you sign off, Dan?
Sure.
Yeah, we can't do anything without you, Dan.
Everyone seemed to think that I'm okay, but everyone seemed to think that Patrick was going to play opening day. I'm not so sure now. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. After making that move,
and still, Nate Davis didn't practice or do anything in basically the whole summer. It's just maybe he's the one not playing. Who knows, man?
Well, you guys, I heard you talking about Tev too, and I brought that up earlier. I said the guy's still in the boot. I know we're 13 days away from game time, but I'm like, he's not going to be available, right? I mean, no. I missed some of the conversation, so I don't know if you had more information that anybody stated that Tev's not going to be available for sure for game one.
I can't remember which beat writer it was. Okay. Somebody said after Saturday they saw him in the locker room walking with a really, really bad limp, and he had a boot on.
Yeah.
That sounds like at least a month away.
Well, we'll probably know that by tomorrow night or Wednesday. If they put him on IR, that's 4 weeks.
Right.
If they don't, it'll be less, right? But I get it. That's probably the only part that I'm a little concerned with, and I'm really not terribly concerned, but is Tev going to stay healthy? Because he's a big part of this offense, I think, the line.
So I guess now we can say that's why they cut Leatherwood, because they knew this trade was coming down the pike.
Absolutely.
It's shitty you have to eat that dead money on Leatherwood, though.
Yeah, he tried to cover all the bases. Not everything's going to work. We know that, I just give him credit for that and being man enough to say, okay, PJ's not the guy. We spent the money. He's not the guy.
So what are we talking about here? What does this mean? That they probably didn't trade shit for him, right? A 7th rounder, 6th rounder,
like I 5th or 6th, but I still haven't found anything, guys, and I didn't really get back to too much because Dan and I were talking about the offensive line. Go figure.
Are you worried that this is long-term injury to Tevin more than we think?
I said we'll know that real quick, because once the 53-man roster's in, if it's long-term, they're going to put him on IR. That covers 4 weeks. So, that's going to tell you where that's at, because immediately when they do that, what if, and Dan brought it up too. They released Leatherwood. They knew this trade was going to go through. So if they're covering the bases,
I got to go, but I just want to make one more point before I head out, and I apologize for having to leave. If you're this management side of the Bears, being Ryan Poles and not Ryan Pace, you didn't draft Tevin Jenkins anyway. And since you've gotten here, I'm rooting for Tevin. Don't think that this is me being malicious, but he's done nothing to prove to you that you can count on him. He's always hurt. Everyone wants to shit on Chase Claypool and say, he's a bad pick. He's always hurt. Well, Tevin they traded for him, but Tevin is always hurt. Like maybe the Bears made this move because they're like, this guy, if he comes back, he'll be hurt again. Just saying, you never know. I mean, part of it could be because they don't believe in Lucas Patrick staying healthy, but maybe it's because they don't believe that Tevin can stay healthy either.
Could be. We're going to find out soon, aren't we, buddy?
If it was a 6th-round pick, that's a great trade. The 3rd one, it could still be a good trade, but it worries me if it's a 3rd.
No, it can't be a 3rd. There's no fucking way it's a 3rd. There's no way it's a 3rd.
Well, man, I'm sorry that I got to go. I apologize. I wish I could stay. I feel like I was working out a lot of angst there, complaining.
Dan, it's okay. You have a job. We appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us while you're working, man. I mean, that's life for you. And don't worry about it. I love the passionate, almost where we can banter back and forth. It's something I disagree with. And we have lots of people in chat that loved it too. So you're not wrong on your opinions because that's what they are.
I hope they are wrong.
In fact, you're mostly correct because if you look at history says you are pretty much going to be correct.
Well, I hope I am wrong. I hope week 1 comes out and they're just balling, man. I'm like, they know something I didn't. And then we got all next week. Next week, we can be back on Monday, and it's Bear Packers week for real.
Yeah.
That's when you can start to dream about a victory and play it out in your head and hope you can manifest it and all these things. So I'm looking forward to being here next week, and I'm sorry I got to go now, though.
We're sorry you have to leave too, Dan. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next Monday on Last Call at House Hall.
Hey, I love you, Dan. I love being with you, Foster. You're
Love
a good
you too,
guy,
brother.
too.
Thanks, DA. You're our
Thank you,
DA
sir.
from now on. The Dan Dwyer. It's our district attorney, man.
I should say I love you, the other Dan, too.
Okay, the other Dan.
Well,
Or yeah, I'm the other
only
Dan,
talking
and you're
to
the other Dan.
Dwyer, not you.
All right, gentlemen, I got to go, for real.
See you, buddy. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Safe, Dan. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
man.
You all be well.
You too.
Thank you.
Oh, man, I love
Just
Dan's
trying to get more
passion.
info on this guy, man.
Thanks for joining us, Swifty. Out of here. He's got to go. Fuck this. I got to go make a video on Feeney.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. He spent all day getting ready. He was going to stop over here, and then he went live, did his shit, ran over here. Then this happens, and he's right back to where he was all afternoon, sitting in front of the thing with the tape. I was talking to him earlier on the phone for about 20 minutes, man. I'm like, dude, am I disturbing you? No, good time. I need a break, but I got to get back to it because now I want to see what Dan and Dan are going to say. He's like, he didn't know if he was going to get it all in, and he didn't. He had to do what he had to do, man.
Let's see. What screen should we go with there? Well, we got the
Bearski. Bearski's probably got to duck out and do one too, dude.
Yeah, I bet you he does.
He probably, look, I don't see him in the chat. He's probably already gone and making it.
Dude, that's the key. I did a Tyson Bagent video, like I released it like pretty much right as soon as I could after the game on Sunday or on Saturday, whatever fucking day it was. I was in the car the whole time doing it.
Saturday.
I was literally in the car watching the game on a hotspot on my computer, connected to my phone while I was watching the game and trying to make clips of Tyson Bagent to put them all together while I was like driving or in the passenger seat, and then like release the video, and boom, it has like almost 10,000 views if it hasn't passed 10,000. So if you're the first one to do it,
ask you, did it hit?
It's crazy.
I was going to ask you, did it hit 10,000 yet? I've had so many things going on. Today's been insane, man. But
It might
great day,
have.
man. Great day.
It might have. Let's see.
Bearski, I just came back.
It hit 10,000. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Where's that other cool
All right,
link?
hop off and do a Feeney one. It'll be the 10th one out.
This one? That one? No, it's not that. It's that one. We came up with some new camera angles that we can
Shut
use
up,
here.
Retro, sorry.
Fucking retro.
So Feeney's out of Indiana, not Illinois, too. I don't know if somebody said it in the chat.
Bearski's saying,
I
send me
just
an
pulled up
invite.
his-
I'll join. Should we bring Bearski in?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up if you want, man. PJ's not here. Look at this. It's already got Feeney is number 67 of the Chicago Bears on Wikipedia. That's unbelievable.
Same.
I kid you not.
Crazy how quickly that updates, isn't it?
Yeah, but that quick, you can't see it. Number 67, Chicago Bears. On Wikipedia. It happened. That's so weird, man. Sorry. That was just too quick.
Yeah. Bearsky, I'm sending the link right now, buddy.
Hop in with Wikipedia because they're awesome. Sorry, guys.
Polish sausage. We can bring Bearsky on here. Just you and I hanging out in here.
Some Polish sausage and some fish jello. We're good to go. Because I was thinking of doing fish and spaghetti.
Never mind. Well, we can't do that. We don't have enough people. That's
what I wanted to talk to you about. You said you were going to have a raging oracle?
I would have a raging oracle if they lost to the fucking Packers in game one. I would literally turn into a raging oracle.
If the Scrody fits.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Bearsky?
How are you?
Ballski.
We are excellent. How are you, my friend?
Good. Thanks for popping me on for a couple minutes.
How you doing, Paul?
We love talking with you, brother.
Yeah, I want to say I caught some of that previous podcast you did earlier today.
Sean Salisbury?
Yeah, it was Salisbury. Yeah, I definitely got to go back and watch the whole thing because from the little bit that I was able to watch, super good content, real good quality content. Everything that guy said, I was just sitting there nodding my head. Yes. I mean, yeah, and it's great when you get an opinion from somebody who's experienced, who's been in the league, who's knows the ins and outs and everything like that. It's just so realistic, and that guy was he was right on with all his points, and then the motivation, the excitement from him was really cool too. So he brought a cool energy to the show. I'm glad you did that. I definitely got to go back and check the whole thing out.
And one of the most I was blown away when he was like, Jim McMahon is my best friend. I'll talk to Jim McMahon. We'll get him on the show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I was just like, are you at the end of the show? I was like, I'm going to hold you up to that, man. I'll buy you a fucking steak dinner if you can get Jim McMahon on the show.
I mean, if it's Jim McMahon, you got to toss him a couple joints,
I could give him an elbow and a knee. Oh, wrong ones.
Oh, wrong. That's a pointy elbow. Look at that one. Oh, on the hip of that elbow.
No. Man, that was just that guy was awesome. I hated him because he was in the line of Vikings quarterbacks that beat the Bears from like 61 to 95 till we got Kramer, man. I swear to God, it was just a nightmare. Everybody can remember the Packers stuff because it's so the last 25 years. People forgot all about the Vikings quarterbacks. So I just thought I'd throw it out again, going back, last century Foster over here. Shut up, retro, because you're going to say something. Is this from the live I missed earlier? No, Keo, it's not, man.
It was. No, it was. It was the live show he missed earlier. It was the one with Sean Salisbury. So Sean had the PSF app that you see in the bottom corner of the screen. I've signed on with this PSF mobile app that you can download on your phone. It's mobile only. It's currently not available for Android, but damn it will be by the beginning of the season. He said it himself on the show. And I'm going to hang out with Lester Wiltfong. One of my favorite articles that I read every morning on the shitter. I Google Bears and I read his articles. And I'm like pairing up with Lester Wiltfong, which is really freaking cool because it turns out he went to the same high school as me and graduated the year before I was a freshman. And we're going to be paired up. Our show name if you go to PSF and search Bears Fan Chat Room, because it's all different chat rooms, and look for, we're going to have in there's going to be a show called The Armchair Bears. And that's going to be Lester Wiltfong and myself. And we're just going to sit there on our damn phones and walk around the house or sit on the couch, whatever we're doing. We're, changing our baby's diaper. Like, they don't care what you do. You just hang out and watch the damn game as a fan. Drink beer. They didn't say anything about weed, but I don't know. I didn't ask. I assume that probably was off base. But, you could just hang out like you're watching the game. And I love that aspect. So Lester Wiltfong and I are going to be doing the Armchair Bears show on PSF app, and there's 3 teams, and we have to choose which team, which games we're going to do. So there'll be 2 other teams doing the other games that we don't do. But it was awesome to have Sean come on and talk about that because his passion for it really shines through. Like he's putting his all into this PSF app. He's the president of it. It's backed by Mike Tyson. It has the ability to be something huge because it could be literally the Twitter of every single fucking sports fan for every single fucking sport. If you love golf, if you love, I'm not sure about wrestling, but if you love golf, if you love baseball, hockey, basketball, football, there's going to be college, high school, coaches. You can go and talk to, it's going to be a live running chat. So whenever there's a stream going for anything, if you want to go in the coaches room and like, you can literally talk to coaches that might be on this. You can go into the Bears fan chat and hang out with Lester and I or the other teams and watch the games with us in real time as fans. We're not going to be able to like give you play by play because they really just want a reaction. So it'll be fun, man. It was a really great conversation with Sean. And then when he really got into talking about Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent, that was when it was like the top blew off my head. It was like, listen to him talk was, he would come on the Score all the time on Chicago. He was on ESPN. I love listening to him on the Score when he would break down quarterbacks. ESPN, he would break down quarterbacks. He's very passionate. And if he's putting his brand on this, I can't imagine it's for anything but a great reason. I'm excited to be a part of it. So, guys, check that out. PSF, download it on your phones. Check out the Bears fan chat room and look for us. You'll see the different tabs at the top. There's the actual chat room, then there's the streams that happened before. Just kind of figure it out. You'll be able to maneuver your way around. You guys are smart enough.
Yeah, I give you so much credit for doing that and attempting that, even doing shows like you are right now. Live is hard enough. And then live during the game, oh man, I'm just a memory pops into my head. It was after my rehearsal dinner. I had all my groomsmen and everything come back to the apartment we were renting at the time, and it was a Thursday night where it was Bears versus Packers, and there was a pass up the middle to a Packers player, and one of our linebackers. I'm blanking on the name right now, but it doesn't matter. Somebody just laid this guy out. And like me and like three other guys, we jumped up. We're like, yeah, that's right. And then the guy didn't get up. Flags got thrown everywhere. And we all just kind of calmed down. We're like, oh, wait, he might be hurt. But my reaction during the game, oh, man, I could not broadcast that live. That would be that'd be something else. So props to you, man, because that takes a lot of restraint to sit there and stay humble and passionate, but not sloppy, because I get sloppy. So yeah, it's hats off to you guys for doing that. That's gonna be really cool. And yes, definitely takes a special kind of talent to be able to do that. So
thanks, because I talked to Dan about that. He's like, I couldn't do that. Dan in his booming voice, there's no way I could do that. I'm like, I know you couldn't do it. Like, I don't even know how I'm not gonna do it, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. I was watching a movie, and it was the end of a movie, and they said something. I wish I could remember the line. It was something about charisma. Charisma is the key to success, or some shit like that. And I think that I do have a little bit of that, because my mother always says I'm very charismatic. That's why I only get. And I'm not, stroking my own cock, as Dan would say. Comes from my own mother, but she is biased. But I think that I think it'll work. I think there'll be some good chemistry going on between Lester and I, just hanging out, watching the games. And honestly, there's, if we can get Jim McMahon on the show, guys. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about this opportunity. Opportunity leads to opportunity, and BCP is one opportunity that's now led to PSF. Pro Sports Fanatics, thank you, Kiyu. Pro Sports Fanatics. Very excited to be a part of this.
You guys want a little information on Dan Feeney?
Yeah, give it to us.
Okay. 29 years old, former third-round pick out of Indiana. His RAS score was 7.72. Long arms. He can play guard or center. Swifty said he loved him coming out of Indiana. Now I'm going to Jacob and Feeney because he said the Orland Park native, Carl Sandburg High School, guard center versatility. His PFF grade for 2022 for the Jets was 51.8. But in 2021, his PF grade was 75.9. Still, it says here, Brad Biggs just says that they're acquiring Dan Feeney from the Dolphins via trade. Uncertain what the compensation is at this point, but Feeney is on his way and will provide depth for the interior line.
We still don't know what exactly we gave up for him, though.
Right.
We still don't know what exactly we gave up for him, though, right?
I haven't gotten it. I'm going to go back to like Google and see if one of the somebody will say something about it. I'm hopping back and forth between Twitter and Google because Bears goggles 2 days ago.
He was asking. Let's see. Where was it? Would you sign? Where was it? How'd y'all feel if we signed Tariq Cohen again?
I was never a Tariq Cohen guy. I didn't think he'd make it in the league. I honestly
shouldn't have signed him in the first place, right?
That was my thought.
I like him as like a little spark plug weapon that we had. I think it was utilized way too much as a spark plug weapon by Nagy. But if he would punt return again, I wouldn't mind him coming back. Like if he could play some, I don't know. He wouldn't. I guess it just wouldn't work, would it? He'd have to be a running back in the running back room. And although didn't Deontay Foreman just get injured? I'm correct.
Don't know. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that are injured. But what's the status? I really can't even judge any of that stuff. Right. Can't judge the injury stuff till after tomorrow when they start putting people on injured reserve. Or don't. That's my thing is who's going on, who isn't. Because that's going to tell us what their timetable is.
That's true.
I do like the other fact that, again, Poles brought another guy back home to play for his Bears.
Yeah, he did.
Again.
Now that's what, 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Steve S is saying no thank you on Cohen. Raging Oracle says got enough gadget types.
Thanks, guys, because I'm with you. There's no point bringing him back. God bless him, man. I hope he hooks up with somebody and has a nice career. He's earned it.
I love the kid. I want him to do well. Yeah. He tries to come back. He gets back from that knee injury and then he blows his fucking Achilles. Like,
even though I wasn't a fan of his, I mean, he's a nice, polite, content young man from what everything that I saw over the few years that he was with us. So those are kind of people you want. You want to have good people around you no matter what, man.
Q saying, really? I mean, none of them can catch a fucking punt. But would Cohen want to catch a punt? Again, would he be scared?
I think the issue is like, listen, good character is valued really highly. And yeah, you got to appreciate good guys and everything like that. And you do want those guys on your team. However, like, Tim Tebow was a great guy, but, not the best quarterback, right? So I think there's a fine line there. And although we have memories of him doing well and everything like that, currently right now, he hasn't played for how many years? And then he's undersized to begin with. I mean, there's always been injury concern just due to his size, and it's no surprise that it wound up playing out that way. So I don't know. And it's a great idea and everything like that, and it'd be a nice thing to do. However, I don't know if it would necessarily benefit the Bears right now and moving forward.
I agree with you. Mark Kazak saying it was a 6th round pick for Feeney.
Oh, that's totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Absolutely, man. We can, that's if he wants to, he'll replace that 6th round pick with a 5th round.
In Poles we trust.
PGT, baby. Poles got this shit.
What's been crazy is like I know I talked about this a couple times on your show, like who's the most important player on the offense that needs to stay healthy, and DJ Moore comes up, but like Braxton Jones comes up, and I brought this up. I go, imagine if 1 year ago, I told you, hey, if our 5th round pick is injured next year, our offense is in a panic. Like compare that to this year. If Travis Bell gets hurt at the start of next year, our defense is screwed. Like it just goes to show that Ryan Poles is able to definitely find some talent in some of these late rounds and everything like that. But just it's a mind-boggling kind of idea.
That's very well said.
Yeah. You and I have gone into Paul and I have gone into more depth with that conversation a few times, man. So again, it's Poles being thorough, looking at everything, because good move, because he's not going to give up that prime draft capital for anything, man. And I don't see him doing it.
Key was saying,
go ahead.
Let's get the Key here. You're saying, oh shit, we completely missed this topic. How do y'all feel about Mooney being a trade candidate?
I'll double down on that. What do you think Mooney would get you as a trade candidate? Because that is what will dictate how I feel about it. I'm going to
get out of my seat.
Let me throw that at you. What do you guys think he would give you back in a haul?
I'm doing this new thing where I get out of my seat for things I have to get passionate about.
I didn't even look at it because I just don't see him trade Mooney. We just got this wide receiver room in the best shape it's been in years, and you're going to fuck it up? Poles ain't going to do that. So I haven't even looked. I haven't even looked at it. It would have to be like Poles says. You got to fucking wow me, man, and it better be a big wow. You know what I mean?
So I respect that opinion, but it doesn't answer the question. Say he does wind up trading him, even if you don't want him to. Say that scenario plays out and exists. Foster, what do you think the haul, what do you think he's getting you back? A 4th round pick?
Well,
a 3rd at most? That's what makes it not
so what are other teams? Wait, let me ask you a question before. I can't even answer that question because what do other teams think he's worth? What would you give up if you were the guy trading for him? What would you give up?
First off, why is he a trade candidate?
Well, we've gone past that. We're at the point where this is happening, and we're trying to figure out reasonable compensation, and we're talking about a 4th round pick for him right now. So you go back and look at his numbers and where he was picked, and that would you're probably going to be in the right zone, man. If I can't pull the trigger on it for a 4th,
no, it's not worth it.
No. Here's the thing for me.
Give me a second, maybe, and a player.
And nobody's going to offer that.
Right. So that's where we're at. It's not going to happen. Yep. I mean, correct. We went through the whole motives, though, Paul. We went through everything.
Mooney is Raging Oracle is saying Mooney is replaceable. He's strictly an outside off the line wide receiver that has to be the number 2. Don't break the bank for him. Okay, so here's my thought on this. Because we're lacking PJ tonight, I'm gonna take PJ's homer aspect of this.
Oh crap.
He's a drafted player that we developed, right? Yes. We'll start with that. Okay.
This is why I said crap. If he's gonna imitate Homer boy over
there, so we all know PJ should be here tonight. I don't know why he isn't, guys. Sorry.
Mute myself, Dan.
Why does that matter?
So PJ loves, I'm just using PJ as the example. PJ loves our drafted players, and so do I. I'm with PJ on that. Okay, so now the second part to that is that Mooney, drafted and developed by us, was Justin Fields' fucking best friend last year and his go-to guy. So now you have some shiny little bitch come along. She enters the classroom, and she's wearing a prettier dress. And she's just a little cuter. She's got the
you can't say bitch. And now, PJ wouldn't say bitch.
No, you wouldn't.
So you got this pretty little thing comes along.
I'm no longer PJ. Now I'm myself. Okay, so you got this pretty little girl that comes in. She's the new girl to the classroom, right? And Justin's been his main girl has been Mooney, right? And now you got this new girl that comes into the class. I know this is a terrible analogy because they're not female, and this is a male and male thing. But for the analogy, now you got this girl that comes into the class that ooh, Justin's all schmoozing on her, and now he's breaking up with Mooney. And when they were just dating for an entire season, they were what was the
relationship down the hill?
What's the word you use?
A 2-year relationship, not one.
Sorry, thank you.
And the first year was always the best year, you know that.
And right? they were going steady. Okay, They were going steady. Now you got this new girl that comes in and she's like, "Yeah, hi, Justin. Like my boobs are bigger, Justin." You know.
If we're keeping this analogy going, then you get married to Mooney and you still wind up cheating on him.
PJ's gonna hate this whole thing. He's gonna
right. Listen.
Nothing to do with me, guys. Nothing.
Without that analogy, here's what it is. To be honest with you, I'll make the counter argument.
Get it. Don't marry if you're gonna cheat, right?
Right. I'll make the counter argument. I'll tell you that Mooney may be the one person that may benefit next to Justin Fields that may benefit the most from DJ Moore being there. I mean, this guy was played out of position last year. He sat there and he faced the double team. If you can line him up, like I go back to the game against the Packers last year. We had Kyler Gordon, who really had a rough start to his rookie year. First 3 games, I felt it was a huge learning curve for him. Now, granted, the rookie shaped up towards the end of the year, but early on, he was playing the nickel, and like against the Packers, Sammy Watkins had a hell of a game against Gordon. And you're talking about wide receiver 3 versus your nickel, and Sammy Watkins being a guy that the Packers actually wind up cutting later in the season. He had his best game against us that season last year, and against Kyler Gordon. So imagine if you could put Mooney in that situation. Imagine if you could put Mooney against some rookie corner that's playing nickel on a team after he sat there and faced double teams. He played against Jalen Ramsey. And so if anything, the opportunity is there for him to flourish the most. Now, the issue with that, it's like a double-edged sword, is if he does produce and he does put up the numbers, then he does dictate a certain value and a certain, money amount in the contract. And I don't think we'd be willing to offer him what some other teams may offer him. So I think at the end of the year, if you do get a good year for Mooney, I think he's going to entertain a deal somewhere else. So that's where this trade idea comes up, where it's like, hey, if you're looking at it realistically, that he's going to be here for a year. Would you rather have him?
He's the girl next door, though. Come on.
Would you rather have him for a year here to help Justin Fields develop more, or would you rather take whatever you can for him, knowing he's not going to be here long term? Me personally, I think his value is higher being here and helping Fields develop more. And if he does have a successful season and dictate a lot of money, that means Fields also had a successful season. And or it helps Fields have more of a successful season, right? So I think we hold on to him, because I don't think you're getting more than a fourth. A third for him would be kind of crazy.
If we trade Mooney, is Scott going to just jump right into his position? The guy didn't even know where he was going Saturday.
Yeah, right.
Punt kick returner right now. I'm just saying, you got to look at Poles is looking at the whole picture, and I agree. Mooney would if Claypool and Poles have good seasons, Mooney would be the guy to be traded, because that body type and that type of guy is easier to replace than Claypool.
Damn.
Yeah, but if Mooney and Claypool,
was I right about something or no?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Like, yes, damn it, you were.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I wanted to just.
I have to get to this. Well, let me before you keep going, Paul. Raging Oracle says, "People, let me tell you about my best friend." He's what show is that? What show is that?
Bill Bixby and the little
Bixby.
kid.
All I know is I know the you see it, and there's an episode with Butters and Osimo where they play that song. Let me tell you about my best friend. I'm pretty sure they played it in that episode. That's where I know.
All the time as a kid. Thank you for that, Raging. Damn, what the Raging? What was that called? Help us out here. My something. My big. Yeah. People, let me tell you about my best
Let me tell you about my best friend, the TV show.
What the fuck was that called?
The Courtship of Eddie's Father.
The Courtship of yes, thank you.
Freaking Raging Oracle gets us on the Courtship of Eddie's Father, and we're talking about Mooney.
Thank you, Pablo.
4 girlfriends.
Thank you, Pablo.
I'd be sleeping with all 4 receivers, I think. Even EQ. No, not EQ. I don't know what I'm talking about. Only 3.
Okay, so I guess
It's
if
like
you,
Paul's looking at me like, what the hell did he just say?
okay, you know the game, right? So let's take Claypool, let's take DJ Moore, Claypool, and Mooney. Fuck, marry, and for lack of, they call it fuck, marry, kill, right? So, we're not being we're not saying kill anybody here on the show.
Well, you're gonna marry Mooney because you're gonna cheat on him.
Marry, dump. How about fuck, marry, dump? Okay.
I don't know.
You're gonna marry Mooney because you're gonna fuck DJ Moore.
I had my mistress, I had my wife, my mistress, and my girlfriend.
Everybody in chat, I want to know your answer on this, and let's go with you because you just said yours, Foz. Let's go with you after this, Bearski. So, chat, fuck, marry, dump. You got Claypool. You got DJ Moore, Claypool, and Mooney. Fuck, marry, dump. Go ahead, Bearski. What are you saying?
Sorry about that. I thought you were gonna go with the chat. I said you marry Mooney because you're gonna cheat on him and fuck DJ. And in every scenario, you just dump Claypool.
Wait, I gotta switch mine then too because I'm gonna
I think
DJ. Claypool's my mistress, and Mooney's gonna be my girlfriend. So I didn't dump anybody because I'm that kind of guy.
Oh, I like that. That's even better.
Terrible.
Foster's got a lot of love to give.
That's right. Damn right. Women. There's not one woman here, I hope.
There might be.
Yeah, I know. Bink the DJ's probably watching us going, oh, that guy again, man.
Is Bink the DJ a female?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See, STC's like me. He would keep them all.
Yeah.
Say married.
No.
He just would have 3 girlfriends.
Yeah, I guess you're good. So I say do not trade. I mean, fuck, you guys made a good point for it though. If he has to leave after this,
it's not the time to trade Mooney, man.
Okay, I'll give you a real life analogy. I'll give you a comparison here. In the Ryan Pace era, we came up with this exact situation with Jordan Howard. Right? So it was Jordan Howard's last year. And we're looking at it as, hey, we're not going to sit here and re-sign this guy. So why not, we spent the 4th round pick on him. Why not send him away somewhere and get some kind of compensation back if we know we're not going to re-sign him? And that's exactly what we did. And I was all for it while they made that transaction. However, during the season, I kind of bit my lip and realized I was wrong because we came across situations in games where we couldn't even score a first down in an entire half of a football game. I believe against the Seahawks that year. I forget. This probably was 2019 or I forget when Jordan Howard's contract was expiring. But and I was sitting there thinking, well, Howard could have gotten us a first down all on his own. We just handed him to. So although the compensation is nice for the long term, you're not getting much. However, Trubisky wasn't leading the offense. So if you need help on the offense around the quarterback, then yeah, good players are going to do that. It's worth more keeping Mooney here for the year to help Justin Fields progress and then just letting him get his money somewhere. Now, Robert Quinn was worth trading because you weren't going to get anything from him. He didn't even get a sack for the Eagles.
Yeah.
But Mooney will still produce for you, so keep him.
Raging Oracle saying, I'm not paying Mooney. I'll draft a more versatile speed wide receiver in the 3rd for less.
Well,
which is kind of what they did in a way.
Here's what I was going to bring up was, hold on one second, hon. I'm on the phone with somebody too. So what if the season's going along and Scott develops and you've got a different punt returner and you can even change kickoff returners and you're having decent seasons out all 3 of them, man, because now you got somebody you can trade in the season when it's a point in time when you might get a little more because how many receivers are going to be hurt week 10 or 12? And again, this is just something off the top of my head that you guys brought it out. What you're telling me brought this out in my mind. So
okay,
you don't know. I mean, again, and Paul said it. You really got to wow the guy, dude, for something to happen. He's not going to take anything like Paul. If they're getting a 4th round pick, he ain't doing it.
Well, here's the thing, Foster. What if DJ Moore is one of those guys that gets hurt?
Then you definitely need to keep Mooney on the team because what are you
going to do?
What are you going to do if any one of them goes? Any one of them?
Right.
Claypool, Mooney. I'll throw Velas in there or Q. if you lose one receiver, I mean, it depends on who it is to make it up. But we know exactly what we have now. We don't know what the next guy's going to be, unless we're able to keep Webster or Fountain on the practice squad and have one of them guys sitting there. That won't hurt, because I wouldn't mind having either one of those guys back, or both of them even. I thought they played very well. You know, not killer over the top stuff, but they could fill a role. So, you know, I just wanted to throw that out there about running down the season later, because depending on record and where they're at and who's hurt and what somebody's willing to offer, I'm going to say that, you know, hopefully everybody's healthy, and that's our strong point, is that wide receiver room. And we're not going to be a playoff team like we thought. And it's right at the trading deadline, and somebody's looking for a wide receiver willing to pay a little more. So, you know, how many times do we say, man, faith in Poles, man? Poles has got this shit. He showed it again. This guy looks like he's kind of maybe pulled off the scrap heap a little bit, because he had a down year last year. But if you go back, I started looking at his college stuff too. Go pull him up just on Wikipedia, man. Go through his college stats and stuff too. The guy, that's why he was a 3rd round pick. So there's something still there. He's only 29. Cover all the bases.
Shorty, I hate to not give you a turn, but I kind of just have something to kind of bounce off that a little bit. You know, I've thought about this too. It's kind of interesting, because Ryan Poles is making all these moves, and as smart, intelligent Bears fans, we're looking at it and we're shaking our head, yes, and agreeing with it. And we know that this might be a little bit more of a long-term thing than a short-term thing. We might need to develop a little bit more patience. We might not make the playoffs this year and whatnot. However, I came across this kind of like realization that, like, well, okay, good moves, but what is that judged by overall at the end of the day? Wins, right? So, like, we could sit here and make all the reasons and excuses why whatever happened last year, and the sacrifice we gave up to sit there and suck and whatever. But say we get 5 wins this year, then are all these moves that Ryan Poles is making really good moves? At some point here, all this stuff has to translate to wins. And I hope that comes sooner than later, but there might be a little bit of a struggle, you know?
The power of Poles compels you.
Dude, I'm as big. I told you, I will go out there and
Triple R too much there.
I will do dirty things to Ryan Poles.
Would you suck dick for beer money for Ryan Poles? Would you suck Ryan Poles' dick for beer money?
I would. Listen, if like we win the Super Bowl next year, it'll be like, I don't know if you guys saw This Is the End, when he comes out and he's got the Jason Tatum's dressed up in that suit on a chain. That would be me, and Ryan Poles would be Danny McBride. Like, if he wins the Super Bowl next year, that's whatever, you know, whatever. So yeah, I believe in the guy. I believe in the guy. I'm looking at all the moves, and I'm going, these are the right moves. These are smart moves. This and that. However, at the end of the day, and it's you know, it's a coin flip kind of league. This stuff sometimes, like I keep saying, you kind of need to get lucky in a way too. But this stuff does need to kind of come together and translate into more than an eye test head nod. It does need to come with wins, right? Like, I'm not crazy here, right?
No, I mean, if you want to suck some dick for some wins, that'd be. I get it.
If that's all it took.
We're all like, no, I wouldn't suck dick for some wins.
STC says not for $1 billion. Cliff Victoria's pulling his wallet out. He's paying somebody else to do it.
STC, somebody hands you $1 billion. You can establish a bank, dude. So just one simple dick suck for $1 billion? Come on.
Do you know? Yeah, no. I mean, we're not going down this rabbit hole. I'm not going to.
You're like, we're supposed to be talking Bears here. We're getting way off the rabbit hole here.
Oh, guys, it's crazy.
STC. I don't know if I could suck a dick either.
Every thought I had in my head, cringing over this.
Hey, well, I know one thing. Foster's got a lot of love to give, right?
I do, man.
Raging Oracle. What if it wasn't televised? Yeah, Yeah, nobody said it couldn't be in private.
I love these guys, and I love the chat, man. These guys are
awesome.
I would stream it live and at least, make some YouTube revenue off the side as well, right?
What about that?
You make $1 billion plus,
man,
right?
How many views you gonna get?
Fuck that $1 billion. I also want to make another $20 on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I might have a whole new direction, just blowing different GMs during, no. No, but seriously, guys, like Ryan Poles is impressive. He is impressive, and I've heard some of these little comments and stories come out from the league, like, hey, their draft scouting is like out of this world. It's improved drastically. There's not other teams that compare to some of the scouting things that the Bears have been doing, especially when you heard the stuff that they made Darnell Wright go through and the extent of detail in their process. Oh, man, this is, I finally feel like, we had those issues about the Bears hiring general managers and whatnot, and they were giving guys interviews and saying, hey, you need to do a mock press conference because that's what matters, what the media thinks and how. No, that's not what matters. What matters is how well you can put a team together and how much success that team has. I mean, and with that being said, Ryan Poles is actually really open to being on camera or being on radio more than most GMs. I mean, I think you get a lot of good insight and a lot of good stuff from him. And overall, in my opinion, it's just 5 stars. He's thumbs up every which way. I hope it works out and we get wins and we can keep this guy long term. Even if it doesn't, I still think he's a great GM just based off what I've seen him do in his short little tenure.
Yeah, he's the first GM to come out in a nice sports coat with just an unbuttoned collar, right? He's not sitting there all stuffy. They're going, I don't think that. What do you think, George? And he's not that guy. That's what I love about him.
Everybody's like, oh, he's willing to admit he fucked up with PJ, and I'm going, that's cool and that's good because that's no problem. But he really didn't, because how did he know Badgett was going to be this and PJ was not going to be PJ either? Mm-hmm. So it's calling a spade, dude. He did the right thing. Okay, this ain't working. We paid the money. We're losing the money. Big deal. We found it. We got an answer. We spent some money, but we got an answer, and I think we got a good answer as far as QB is concerned.
Yeah, let me tell you a little story.
That was why Leatherwood was released too, because they knew that this trade was going to happen. They knew they had the depth guy they wanted to fill in, not only for left guard, but for another body for center, man. So
let me give you this analogy. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So there was a guy. Was it Charlie Whitehurst? That the Seahawks gave him a $40 million contract, I believe. He was a backup on the Chargers. Seahawks wanted him as a starter. I believe they signed him to a 3 or 4 year, $40 million deal. That same year, in the 3rd round, they drafted quarterback Russell Wilson. And come OTAs and practice time, they go, you know what? Russell's the guy. We're going to eat that $40 million contract, and we're going to start this 3rd round pick week 1 because he's the real deal. Now, was that a mistake? Was that a waste of $40 million, or was that the right thing to do? At the end of the day, $2 million is nothing, guys. If PJ Walker's not showing it, then you just move on.
And I think Swifty corrected it. Maybe that was something else. I think it's $2 million. I know that there was something else corrected with Leatherwood's contract. Leatherwood's contract is only like a $1.5 million. Screw that. We got a super.
Yeah, we got a super chat here, guys. Retro, thank you, Retro. $2 super chat. I'd suck fuck for a billion. I'm not gay, just smart.
I would join Retro and we split the billion. We make it entertaining for whoever,
So you would take the.
It doesn't matter because Retro. Remember about 4 weeks ago, I turned Retro gay whenever I shaved everything off. He said he was going the other way.
When you had the shave,
freshly shaved clean 80 vaginas face, yeah. That's fine.
That was so weird.
As long as Retro takes some of that money and rents the space out between my teeth. As long as you reinvest the money back into me, I'm totally cool with whatever he has to do.
Paul's trying to make some advertising bucks.
I love how he turned it back on you, Retro. Paulski's on you, man. He's going back to your gap tooth fucking joke because you're the comedic
Oh, dude, I was hanging out with my buddy that I've known for like 20 years, and I let him know some of Retro's jokes because they've given me shit over the years and everything. I busted those two out that he said. And I had people in the room laugh, people that I've known for a while laughing. Like I said, when you asked me, what do you think about that? I was like, I think that guy's fucking creative. Like, it's good shit, man. Appreciate it.
Well,
Yeah,
said,
definitely.
Man, when it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter who it comes from or what it is, but when it's good, it's good.
He's our resident comedian.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
They ripped. You should see all the crap they've said about me over the last 6 months, dude. Some of it's unbelievable.
Oh, God. At one point, you were like, why does Retro hate me so much?
And I'm only joking. Here's one right here. Because I said that he was going gay, so Retro finally says, no, Foster, I turned asexual because of the shiny, clean vagina face. Ooh, Dan was drinking something. I didn't say the right thing.
Mr. Mayhem says the Packers will have a losing season.
Ooh, I agree.
I don't know, man. I'm
so.
kind of
Yep.
STC saying tis a fun show. Thank you, STC. But back to the Packers will have a losing season. I like to sit here and talk shit all the way till the games begin, and then when the first fucking game of the season is the Packers, then I start to get really, really worried. And
he's gonna throw a raging oracle.
I'm gonna throw a raging oracle at my TV screen. If shit doesn't go right, I'm gonna tell you that much. Can't handle it.
Oh, we got another super chat from Retro Music Network for $2. I'd rent that space, seen from the space station.
I'm waiting for the application. I'm waiting for I still got to run the background check on it. I mean, I don't want some dirty shit going on in there. So, and then I got to make sure he's going to actually pay month to month. Yeah,
for that. Correct.
There's a lot that comes with it. I can't. It's not
COD. It's got to be a COD.
Yeah, right. Cash on delivery.
Paul, you think you'll use any variation of this last one he just did on you somewhere with your buddies or something?
I don't know. That one's a little mediocre. Like I don't know if you live in Chicago, the rent prices are just outrageous. So
yeah.
So are
you will collect massive bucks now. You're right, with the one bedroom apartment going from $800 to $1,400 a month overnight.
I'm glad they don't tax me on this shit. I'd be fucking broke.
No shit.
Yeah, right.
That's what is going on in Chicago, folks. It's that bad.
It is.
Leo, guys, I like what Leo's Factor's saying. The Rodgers didn't miss a game and they won 8 games. So, but Leo, they had a lot of rookies on that defensive line that could be like superstars this year.
And the thing about drugs is they kind of catch up with you over time,
Hey, shut up, man.
Listen, I went back. I recently watched a game or two from Rodgers' rookie year. I'm not rookie year, the first year he got to start, which, he sat on the bench for however many years. But that was a different situation. We were talking about a team that was in the NFC Championship against the Giants. And the last play Favre had was in that NFC Championship throwing a pick to lose that game. And you know what? They had a talent on the bench that they knew was just as good, if not better. And they had a team that was in the NFC Championship. And granted, the Packers did make, what was it? They made 2 deep playoff runs in a row, but last year was definitely a down year for them. And this isn't that. This is more of Rodgers holding them hostage for money, Rodgers talking crap about the coaching staff, talking crap about the organization. I heard that when they finally broke down and said, okay, here's your contract, here's your $50 million, and he didn't show up to the voluntary practices that year, I heard they were pissed. They were pissed because they decided, you know what? Okay, we'll set our differences aside. We'll go with you. We'll pay you, everything like that. And he would not put 100% effort in like they feel like they could get from other guys. And so this was, I think, more of them figuring out a way to move on from him rather than replace him. Listen, when he came out that year, he was a machine, man. This guy, every throw was on the dime. He was running an offense to perfection. I mean, he was impressive. Very, very impressive. I don't see that from Jordan Love. I just don't.
God, I hope not. I hope not. I really hope not.
It's like you said, they can't replace them. They're just trying to move in the right direction, man. That's all. And somebody Leo Factor 1 brought up a good point, man. He says, here, I'll read it for people that can't that aren't watching but are listening later. Leo Factor 1 said the Packers lost their number 1 wide receiver, their number 1 quarterback, their number 1 tight end, and their offense is going to take some time before it's playing well. That's very true, man. I got to figure it might be 5 or 6, 3 to 5, 6 weeks into the season before they can even start the job because of the short preseason. I always say the first 2 games of the season are still kind of preseason, man.
Right. They are, especially now with the 17-game schedule.
Yeah. And only 3 preseason games, too. And then they don't play them. The starters don't play a lot on most teams. Look at them. You know what did Fields get the other day? 17 snaps, 11 snaps, was it?
13.
11. 17.
13. 1-3.
13. Okay. Probably thinking about something from that the Colts thing, the Colts Bears practice.
When you look at one of the reasons that Rodgers was upset is, you took 10 years of first-round draft picks. 9 of them were defense. Only 1 of them was offense, and the 1 offensive draft pick they made in 10 years was Jordan Love.
Yeah.
So he looked at it as like, listen, like I took a second-round wide receiver in Devontae Adams and made him into the best wide receiver in the league. He's had a lot of scraps here and there. Now they've given him some talent here and there, but however, their main focus all the time was to create a defense that would be able to, and defenses spike in the playoffs. Defenses will get you a Super Bowl alone. Like we saw that with the Bears and Rex Grossman here. Like you could create a situation for this guy where it's not all on Aaron Rodgers to have to win, but you're going to do that by having a good defense. And I feel this offense has been ignored for a while because a lot of the issues they've had, they've been able to cover up with Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
All of those are about to come to light. And because
all the cracks in the dams, all the mortar work in the dam is going to be exposed here.
Yeah, it is, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. I really am.
I hope so too. I just am not. I'm not resolved to saying Love stinks, and they're not going to have an offense. I can't completely discard them in any fact. I'm just saying I think it will take a little longer for this offense to develop, but I don't know how good it's going to be, man.
Right.
Because of everything he just mentioned and more, what they're going through.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
What are you rolling with there? An ice house was there tonight?
Always. Actually, people give me shit about drinking ice house and this and that. I grew up with it, and honestly, it's my preferred beer. I know that doesn't sound great, but I don't know. It's one of those. You kind of develop a taste for it and whatnot, and it's what I like to. I drink other beers, and I can't.
I drank it for a while when that first came out, man. I was drinking that. I like that beer.
So I'm a malt liquor guy. I really am. For a while, I would even get a King Cobra 40 here and there. My wife would call me EMX.
Yeah.
Like BMX, BMX. Yeah, I had to just put a bandana on me, get the fucking King Cobra 40. No, but cheap and effective, and it is what it is. So,
right.
But yeah, like I said, back to football. With this Packers team, I get the fear, I get the doubt, but I really truly think it's all based off of the psychology we have from just being Bears fans. I mean, it's been 30 years that the Packers have had good quarterback play. It's hard to just sit there and throw that aside and be like, oh, it's not going to continue. But, I mean, we're talking about a guy that's trying to follow a superstar here. Even Andrew Luck, when he came in a year after Peyton Manning was gone, the expectation was just so high to sit there and perform. And as capable as he was, he did the best he could. But, when Peyton Manning did leave, that team did go 0-16. Every flaw started to show. I don't think. Listen, if Jordan Love is good, he needs to be developed. I don't think they're in a situation to develop a guy.
Right.
Hope you're right.
Me too, man.
Me too. I hope I'm right too.
I can't disagree with anything you said. I know Walt's got some stuff that he wanted to bang out there on us. I just don't know what. What's
up, Walt?
What's class?
Confirm that sixth or anything? You find any more?
Yeah, it's confirmed to be a 6th round pick. You know, I'm surprised with the hate behind that too. It's really not a bad pick if we traded that away. I know some guys out there saying we overpaid, but that's about it. He's going to be a depth guy. That's the whole purpose of the deal. We needed to replace Leatherwood, and we needed that veteran guy at guard, and he can play both sides and center. So it looks good. I mean, I'm a high to Tyree Carter too, but he's still young.
Yeah,
you need that veteran presence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said some people are saying we overpaid.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not going to name names, but they're a little salty on the deal.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you can remember any situation for any team where they traded a 6th round pick for somebody and they wind up overpaying?
I don't know. I don't get it personally. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Raging saying that's all they got. Bears kept Bajan. Green Bay would have picked him up quickly if the Bears let him go. Just to kind of change the subject on that, but I do like.
Would that surprise you if Green Bay would have snagged him? Not me.
No.
Well, Green Bay signed that guy out of the XFL too.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'd have a use for Bajan.
Leo Factor is asking, what are you guys doing on game day for game one? Cooking, watching at home with family, or going out to a bar? Well, Leo, I could either be doing the PSF app with Lester Wiltfong, watching the game, or if not, I think we're going to do a live game cast here.
Yeah.
And hang out and have fun for that, and then show the post game after that. So I think we'll do a pregame with Swifty if I'm not down the PSF, even if I'm not, maybe you guys will. Pregame with Swifty game, and then we'll do a game cast, and after the game we'll do we'll show the press conference for everybody. That's kind of the goal for game days on BCP.
There you go.
So Dan, I have to ask, what scares you so much about Green Bay?
The fact that we are so injured on the offensive line, and they have a pretty good defensive line, pretty damn good one. And our defensive line is now, it's got a couple of rookies on it, and the best defensive line player in the preseason now wants to be traded. And
Who's that?
They have a pretty good offensive line too. So when you combine those two things, I'm worried that fucking Jordan Love punks us again, just like every other quarterback prior to him did, with Favre and then Rodgers and now him. I don't want to get punked by Jordan Love again because our lines don't match up. That's what scares me.
Well, I mean,
real quick,
you can make.
Real quick before we go on with this, week one, what are people doing on game day? I just want to mention real quick, if I could, kind of promote it a little bit. I will be out in the tailgate again. Me and my brother-in-law Patrick, who goes by Pat because he's part of BearsCountry, we'll be out in the 31st Street parking lot tailgate. We'll have about 20 shirts, and we're going to do the tailgate trivia again. So we'll be out there handing out T-shirts, making a video, asking people questions and things like that. And then hopefully we both make it home by the start of the game so we can sit down and watch the game. But, yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that in there and mention that since you asked that. So, yeah, if anybody's out there tailgating or anything like that, try and come find me or hit me up on Twitter or hit me up somewhere. And I will even come to you and ask you a trivia question so you guys can get a free T-shirt and whatnot.
Love it.
Yeah. And then, real quick, back to that topic that you were saying, what gets you scared. Listen, we had a good chance to beat them the first time we faced them, and then the second time we faced the Packers, we went up 17-3 in the first quarter. That was with Rodgers at quarterback, so that's why I'm not scared. But that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Go ahead, Walt.
Dan, I just wanted to ask.
I wanted to mention.
Shut up, Foster. It's Walt's turn to talk.
Paulie's got a couple videos he
let
just
him
put
talk.
out. So go check out his last couple videos that he just put out. That's all. Take
Thank
it away,
you, guys.
Walt, man.
YouTube.com/@BearsCountryFilm. Thank you.
Bearsky, do you do this tailgating every game or just a couple of season?
No, so actually, it's my channel just monetized in March. So the little money I have made so far, I've been trying to just pump it right back into the channel. So I was able to get my buddy David, who was on with us the other night, he sponsored the first time around. He bought all 20 T-shirts. This time around, the channel actually has made me enough money in August to buy the T-shirts, and so we're going to go out there week one and do it. However, I think that's going to be it for the season. I'm not sure what the outreach is marketing wise for handing out these T-shirts. It's more of a feel good thing. We like getting out there and just talking to fans and whatnot. The videos haven't done too well and whatnot, so it's not even about making the videos and posting them. I get better views from highlight videos and whatever. However, last time we went out there, we did run into Sylvie from Waddle and Sylvie, and I was able to give him a T-shirt. So who knows what the marketing reach of that could potentially be. So we just kind of want to get out there, meet with fans face to face, and week one's a great opportunity. I think we might make the trivia all Green Bay versus Bears themed. So it'll be a lot of Green Bay, Packers, Bears questions and things like that. However, I think that's going to be it for the year. We did it once. We liked it. We're going to do it again. But yeah, thanks for asking that.
I have an idea for you. Are you going to a game this year?
Potentially, yes.
Okay. So let's just say you are. Go to the game and just record after a touchdown. Okay, bring a couple T-shirts with you, and when you're hanging out with the crowd, right after the touchdown, and they go to a commercial, everyone's cheering. Make a quick short, and then do a trivia and hand out the T-shirt then, because that's what people will want to see. Just give me a little advice. Like the stupidest short that I ever made at a game was when they were brushing the field off in the rain during the first game of the season against the 49ers. There was just a guy brushing the water off the field with a fucking big broom. And it was like, it just kept getting views and views and views, like ridiculously. So for your like little handout T-shirt video, do it right after a touchdown. Go to a game, do it right after a touchdown when it's kind of calmed down, but everyone's still like psyched up. Take a video, be like, here's a quick trivia question for a T-shirt or whatever, and just hand them out to people around you in your area.
I mean, I think you're underestimating how drunk truly people are by that point.
Could be the first quarter, dude. Who knows?
I got a bunch of stuff that'll help you with that, Paul. We'll talk later, man. So I want to get back to Walt because we never finished with Walt. Shut up, Paul.
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say if you do come out again, I'm going to the Lions game. The first home game we have. So if you want to link up and do something there, just let me know.
Definitely, thank you. I'll reach out to you. A realistic opportunity.
Yeah, we can figure something out. Now, going back to the Packers, though, Dan, I'm not too worried. You have Jordan Love, who's Jordan Love. He's shown flashes of brilliance, but that's about it. I mean, this is basically the same team that the Rodgers had last year, minus Alan Lazard and Robert Tonyan, who were two pretty big weapons for him.
Knocking on wood.
Are you going to worry about Lucas Van Ness, who's been pretty much invisible in the preseason?
I'm just programmed to worry about the Packers.
So wait. So Walt, there was a video on Twitter yesterday of Lucas Van Ness killing this guy and sacking the quarterback. So I looked the guy up. I can't even remember his name. He wasn't even on the roster or the depth chart. I could not find his name on the team they played. And it was the only play they showed. And the guy kept going over there like, he's going to kill the Bears line in the first game of the season. But I couldn't find the guy's name anywhere on the depth chart. I couldn't find it on the 86 guys on that team, man. It was hilarious. And then I put it right back on Twitter. I don't think the guy ever responded to that after that. I'm serious. I got to go back and look. I had to throw that while it was in my brain because I just am laughing about it still.
I mean, injury-wise, wait. It's just wait and see. It's a waiting game. They don't have to tell us anything. I mean, if it was major, we saw that with Tevin. They'll give us a hint, maybe not, a full timeline, because you can't really go out and you're making an assumption on 6 weeks with the double calf strain. That's all it is. It's just an assumption. But
we got the chat blown up here, guys. Leo Factor saying Bears were talking to the Packers both games. Bears are taking it to the Packers both games last season until they ran the ball on us and took the momentum. We were up 10-0 in the first game, I believe.
Yeah,
you're right. Then we were down. We were we were up in the second game too. I thought I was so excited. I thought we were going to win that second game for sure, like big time.
I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy enough to just give it to him in the first quarter, be up 17-3, and then I said, okay, let's just lose this thing. We need the first draft pick.
Yeah.
I'm glad it went the way it did, to be honest with you.
If Love's playing last year, do they make that comeback? No, I don't think so.
Probably not. No, I'm just going to circle back to my Van Ness comment here with Brian Gilmore. I don't know if he's referencing that in particular, but with a young rookie, I would expect him to do something, maybe a flash anywhere in the preseason. You know, you don't have to be, 6 sacks a game, but, it's just like you're not there. They brought you in to be that guy that's going to hammer it home, and I want to see something out of it. That's all.
I agree. That was Brian Gilmore's comment. It's preseason. You're literally going to see little to nothing for those.
I expect veteran players like even Dak Prescott. He hasn't taken the field in preseason since 2019. But young guys you just drafted in, especially a high pick like Van Ness, you got to see something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be wrong, but it's just not there right now.
This thing have not been seen except for, like I said, that one play. And again, man, I wish I could find the guy's name.
I mean,
I don't know.
How was Kurt Warner able to come in as a third-string quarterback and have crazy success?
From being a grocery bagger before that.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, dude.
You know
Spent
how?
all day doing this. See,
The talent around him.
I'm joking.
The talent around him.
Right.
That team was set, right? So, like, if we're talking about grooming a quarterback, listen, a superstar quarterback can transcend all that. We can get a guy that makes receivers out of no names and this and that, but there's only a small handful of guys that can do that.
Yeah.
And from what we've seen out of Fields, we're looking at more of a developmental thing. And I think from what we've seen out of Love too, it doesn't seem like he's capable of doing it all himself. I think he needs a lot of help, and I don't think they have it to give it to him.
Guys, I like what Cliff Victoria is saying here, which is kind of a precipice to this. Let's talk about this for like the next 14 minutes and wrap this up at 2.5 hours. Because let's get into some of these questions from chat. Like, Cliff's saying, do you think Patrick could get cut? Then he goes on to say they would save $3.9 million. If that's the case, I don't know what to say, because on one hand, yes, because he hasn't been out there and he's constantly injured, and on the other hand, what else do they have to back him up with? They're so shallow at center. It's almost scary now, especially with the injuries piling up.
We'll know pretty quick.
Let's go to you first, Walt, because Walt gets to talk last all the time.
I mean, I see your point and what you're saying. We are low on center depth, but you have Dieter Iceland that could theoretically slot in. This guy Feeney now could do the same. Doug Kramer, we don't know what his situation is. And Cody Whitehair too. Those are two wild cards there. But Lucas Patrick has shown next to nothing. He can't play guard, or at least couldn't last year. And center, he played 2 snaps, then broke his little toe and had to run away. I mean, let's go. I mean, Pauls isn't one to be like, I'm going to hold on to a guy, even though I made a mistake. I'm going to own up to it. We saw that with the Leatherwood cut and the PJ Walker cut earlier this week. So if he has somebody coming in, I mean, maybe it could be that's why we brought Feeney in. I don't trust him.
Is that the reference to like the Piggy Wiggy goes all the way home? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like he hurt his hand during preseason, so they wrapped it up. And instead of letting him sit and healing his hand, we're gonna have him platoon with Tevin Jenkins. Worst decision in the world. Then you finally bring him into play center. He gets hurt again, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's a missed free agent signing at this point.
Yeah,
and if
he cut the Pernell McPhee, actually,
if he cut the guy tomorrow, it wouldn't be a big loss.
Pernell McPhee being Pace's first signing, it's worse than. Is it worse or it's probably worse than Pernell McPhee? I would agree.
Both pretty bad, but we ain't done with this one yet. But who knows when?
Bearski. Cut him.
My phone's at 3%, so I'm gonna have to talk quick here. If I go blank, that's why.
Okay, we're wrapping this up anyway.
Yeah. So I think when you look around the league and you look at how teams are built and everything like that, there's some positions that are more easily replaceable with late round draft picks than others. I've done a lot of research on this, and I'll tell you right now, wide receivers, you can find them everywhere. Cooper Kupp was a 3rd-round pick. You have guys that have some off the field issues. Tyreek Hill was a 5th-round pick. Antonio Brown was a 5th-round pick. Like, you could get guys later in the rounds that become superstars in this league and whatnot at the wide receiver position. However, when it comes to like defensive tackles, defensive ends, usually a lot of the guys that produce in this league are 1st or 2nd-round picks. Offensive linemen, get them anywhere, right? Like we were talking earlier, like, oh, if Braxton Jones isn't healthy, that was a 5th-round pick last year. So, like, it's a lot easier than to cut a guy and to, try and look for a replacement if he's playing a position that's replaceable by a later round pick. So, if they decide to do that, I don't think it's about the money. I with all the cap we have and everything like that, they're willing to eat a couple million here and there. Like, we paid $16 million to giraffe neck Mike Glennon, who, by the way, he has a huge advantage where he sees the field from like a Madden style perspective. No other quarterback in the league ever has that advantage. But no, but seriously, we wasted $60 million on him to play for 4 games. So there's worse money situations that we've even encountered before where we've had to eat money. Like you mentioned, Pernell McPhee, Lamar Houston's another one. Celebrated torn ACL. We gave that guy a lot of money to do that. So if they decide to cut Patrick, I wouldn't.
I would imagine that
I wouldn't take the $4 million thing and be like offended by the fact that they lost some money by doing so. So
we're first on the waiver wire, guys. So if they cut someone, just understand there has to be somebody better that in polls we trust, right?
Sorry to interrupt. I do want to bring up Raging's comment here where he's talking about Doug Kramer. I think he's overblowing the loss of balance a little bit. Kramer was 6th overall in terms of PFF rating. Now, I'll be completely transparent here. I don't take PFF for gospel. They have their faults, but it's a sound system in a sense. So, I mean, he's doing something right. And we saw Buffalo, he wasn't half bad against, the Bills 1s and 2s. So he has the opportunity and the know-how. He's a smart guy to do the job at center.
100% correct.
I think they drafted him with the expectation to start.
Yeah.
When they drafted him. It was the injury that held him back, and then they had to go to Lucas Patrick. But I think originally where they drafted him didn't matter. I think they wanted Doug Kramer to be the center.
Yeah, no, when Lucas Patrick went down during preseason, he was slated to slot in with the number 1s before he hurt his foot. So he had to be doing something good. These coaches aren't stupid.
No. And I think that's the first time that I can feel that way. I mean, maybe not the coaches, but I in polls I do trust. I feel like this guy's got his shit together. And for the first time in my life, I feel like the blind squirrel has gotten the nut. The blind squirrel has finally got the nut. And I'm excited, man. Guys, let's wrap this shit up.
I'm looking for that nut.
Well, that's the great thing about Foster is like his life has been so long that he's found that nut a couple times now and buried it. So
yeah, he knows it's true. It's possible.
That's why his experience is always worth listening to.
He's got his own nut, buried it, found it again 4 or 5 times over by now.
Yeah, and I keep saying this doesn't just feel different. I think it is different. And one of the things I keep pointing to is, listen, if stuff goes haywire this year, and if the expectations we have aren't even met at an average level, if field bombs, then guess what? We have 2 first-round picks next year. That's not usually how prior GMs have set this team up. Prior GMs have gone all in and try to make moves to sit there and kind of risk the future and gamble the future in order to win. No, that's not what's going on right now. So even if things don't go great, I still am very excited for the future of this team.
Yeah, so am I, man.
I just don't see how anybody couldn't be. I just don't see how you can't be.
Would you let fucking Walter talk, Foster?
Fuck no.
Oh no, I was just going to bring up the Raging's comment here, and I have to agree. His body looks better than last year. He's definitely slimmed down. He does have some techniques to work out, but I mean, it's in a sense his rookie year. Like you said, he was redshirted last year, so I mean, he's a small guy. He's probably on the same height as Jason Kelsey, if I believe, maybe an inch shorter or an inch taller in one direction. But I mean, these small guys can get it done, and I have faith in Kramer. Just like I have faith in Justin Ross on the Kansas City Chiefs, but that's a whole nother story.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on tonight. I really appreciate all the time and the opportunity. Like I said, my phone's about to die, so hey, I'm down with BCP. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Bearski, thank you for joining us tonight.
We'll see you.
Get out of here. We're gonna sign this show off.
No, I just hurt my shoulder, man.
How about this one? Bring this one back?
I don't think your wife wants to see this.
My wife unsubscribed on my own channel over an argument.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, we know she's a smart lady.
I was on her phone today, and I was like, I grabbed her phone to look at something, and I was on YouTube, and I saw the thing that there was something on BCP on there. So I clicked on it. I was like, "You're not subscribed." She's like, "That's when we were fighting."
Wait, I gotta check. Are you guys okay now? I was just gonna.
She's like, "No, you can press." She's like, "You can press the subscribe button again." I was like, "Okay, thank you."
Oh, that's where that last one came from. Hold on,
Where's this fucking one subscriber that keeps popping back in and out? Like, oh, it's you. I get it. Okay.
I was gonna say, so she's the one, man. We can
She's
now.
The one,
tell. I can tell now when you guys are arguing.
Just goes to like 800 back to 799. Back to 800, back to 799.
One, you're gonna be stuck on 999, man. It's gonna suck.
She's gonna go to 1,000.
Like, for a minute, but then get in an argument with her, and then you lose the money. You're gonna be in trouble.
What a world we live in this YouTube world, guys.
Crazy.
Seriously, I love you guys, man. Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone in chat. Let's recognize our chat tonight. Brian Gilmore, Raging Oracle, Keo Carito, Leo Factor, Cliff Victoria, Retro, Mark Kazak from earlier. He had to go to bed. He's 6th round until he has to go to bed. Mo Beerman, Leo Factor. I think I said him already.
Yep.
Keo Carito. Man,
got Mr. Mayhem too.
Mr. Mayhem.
STC.
Joining us, Mr. Mayhem. Mo Beerman. STC, yes. AC Adam was here for a while.
Steve S.
Steve S. That's my. I'm not gonna lie. I've known him since I was 8. He's the guy I wanted to do the podcast with originally. He was my other Dan, but his name was Steve.
Being replaced, Foster.
No, he's very timid.
Can't replace me. No, you guys die and I just keep fading away slowly. Very slowly. It's a painful death. You're better off going fast. No.
Raging Oracle. If we haven't mentioned you already, Raging Oracle. Let's see.
Pablo 1021 too.
Pablo 1021. Demon 1599 as well.
Man.
So you gotta keep scrolling up here. Keep scrolling up to the beginning.
James Ford.
James Ford. Thanks for joining us, James Ford. We love you guys, man.
1021, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys seriously are what makes this go around. Please make sure you tell your friends and like and subscribe and leave comments. Comments help a lot. That helps the channel grow just with comments. Just fuck you, that sucked, or I loved it. Just whatever.
Please, anybody who's listening to this, if you can find a way to comment on it, please do, because we love the comments, man. We go back and read them.
And they really help the channel grow. Ravi, come up. Oh, Ravi, come up. Great to see you again, my friend. Bearski Film, of course. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's see.
Yeah, Swifty too. Did you get him?
Swifty, of course. Fucking Swifty.
Fucking
love
man.
you, Swifty. Swifty, thanks for joining us tonight, man. You are the man. You are the man. We got a lot of shit coming up with Swifty, so stay tuned for that.
Eduardo Rodriguez M. Said him right.
Yeah, just who is it?
So.
Gary Magistrelli. Thanks for joining us tonight, Gary. He said Bears win because two guys are gone, and Rodgers and Bears will win because two guys are gone. Right.
Rodgers from the Packers and Mustafa from the Bears.
Yes,
that's a pretty good one. How do you make the Bears better? Just get rid of two guys, one from each team. Exactly. Our worst, their best. That changes the odds right there.
Yes, exactly.
Good point.
Slank joined us tonight.
Who?
Plank.
Yeah.
Love to see you, Plank.
Yeah, Plank. I just saw him. I'm scrolling up.
Retro and Steve S, thank you for your super chats, man. You guys are awesome. Like, seriously, what makes this go around? Yeah, there's Plank. Walter Besky, keep these guys in check. Love it. Oh, here's a new one. Zai 7.
That's what I was looking for.
Zai 7. Again, they only took JF1 out because he reached his play limit that night, is what he said earlier. That was just one of the many things he said. Appreciate your new viewership, Zai 7. That is awesome.
Is Zai 7 still here? Because I like that model in his pick there.
Man, how far did you get to Plank?
Yeah,
he just did Plank.
Yeah.
This chat is unbelievably long tonight. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm like scrolling up forever. Zai 7, that's a really cool logo you got there. Let's see. Yeah. Just want to make sure we respect everyone for hanging out with us tonight, because without you, this does not happen. You guys are the shit. Every one of you in chat are the shit. Make sure you check out the PSF app as well. We're going to have some excellent conglomeration going on with them. I imagine some, making friends with Sean Salisbury is going to be pretty cool. Might be able to get some former Bears on here. Excited about that. He mentioned himself. He said it himself. He's going to ask Jim McMahon to join us. Jim McMahon.
He put a great inspirational post on Twitter. It was basically about how he got through his tough times and stuff. And it was basically about getting out of himself and helping others through all of that. God gets him through his darkest times to stop focusing on his own problems and helping other people, man.
You're talking about
I'm not even doing it justice, man. Go to Twitter, look at it. If you can't find it, it's on my page pinned.
You're talking about Sean Salisbury or Jim McMahon?
Sean Salisbury.
Yeah.
I pinned that. I commented and pinned on his. I can't remember the right words, guys, but I like that guy a ton, man. I like that guy a ton. And thank you, StreamYard, again for being in the chat.
Yes, Raging Punky QB. Yes, go if you haven't seen it. I did it. I did a show. Foster produced it. He did a great job. We were short tonight with Sean Salisbury. It was only like 40 minutes. I did it from the car on the way home, driving home from a hurricane in the passenger seat with a laptop connected to a freaking hotspot on my phone, and did a show with Sean Salisbury. We talked about PSF. It'll kind of break that down. There's a lot of amazing things that come from that app, which I'm now a part of, doing a show called The Armchair Bears in the Bears fan chat section for Bears games with Lester Wiltfong. So, guys, check that out as well. And if you at least go check out the Sean Salisbury episode that we did earlier today, that was a fucking blast talking with Sean Salisbury, Foster. That was a blast.
I sat here, not because I wasn't on the show, guys, and I sat here, and I wish you guys could. I don't know if you saw me at all, man. It messed me up helping you produce the show because I got into it so much, like I was sitting on my phone going, yeah, I like this fucking guy, man. You tell him. You tell him. I actually screwed up. Remember, at the end of the show, I screwed up because I got into it so much, I forgot to do what I was supposed to be doing. I was listening to Sean Salisbury, like right till the end, and I'm like, oh, shit, I could have done that 41 minutes ago, but oh well.
Great takes on Justin and Tyler Bagent.
Oh yeah, you guys got if you didn't see it, and I put it in the chat even. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it, guys. Not for our sake.
You have to. It was
for your own sakes, because
it was epic.
If you're
for
a Bears fan, it's a great take.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, too, guys, just a little plug for Swifty here. If you're not tired yet, he did put up a Dwight Feeney video, so it's worth a watch.
Get your asses over and check out that Feeney video.
I meant to say that. He put it out about 15, 20 minutes ago. I was going to say it. Oh, damn, he's already done and got his video out.
I'm surprised he's not back here going, oh, the show's still going. I just got my video out.
Yeah.
Two
he's
videos raging.
He's working on something else already because something probably happened. Have you been watching Twitter? I haven't. I'm actually on the phone with kind of my girlfriend here, ladies. So,
I like how Cliff is watching the live show. He says Sean and Shorty sitting there waiting for Foster to cut the feed when you were doing the live. Yeah. We're like sitting there going, all right, let's end this. What are you? 1, 2, 3, and he goes, Bears. And then we're like, Foster?
And then I finally get it and you come back on.
I'm like, I got this, Foster. I'll end this shit.
Yeah, that's what it
was. Listen, it was the commitment.
The show was great.
It was a commitment from everybody here on BCP, and that made it happen. And just traveling home in the passenger seat, from a hurricane, made it happen. Check that show out because it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to have him back out again, hang out with all of us, and talk with us. And I told him I would buy him a steak dinner myself if he can literally bring Jim McMahon to the show. That would be just because Jim's gonna be like, I don't watch football. I don't know anything about Justin Fields. And we'll just be able to sit here and fucking have fun with Jim McMahon like we do on the show. Like sometimes it's half football and it's half life. And Jim McMahon adding that half life to the fucking show would be epic. So look for that. Excited. Very excited.
Absolutely, man.
All right, guys. You want to wrap this shit up?
Good night, everybody, man. You
guys in chat. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Set your notifications. Make sure you leave comments because those really help too. And we love all you guys in chat. Just get on there and start commenting. Go blah blah blah. This sucked. That was great. It doesn't matter. All the comments help. They help to feed the video algorithms through YouTube. It helps the channel grow. The more this channel grows, the more that we can make it even better and better and better. We're getting better as a crew. We have Walt, who's our producer. Walt's like fucking slapping our asses into shape over here. We are getting shit together, guys. Stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun on BCP. We love you guys. Until Thursday when we see you, we're going to have Shay on as our guest. And we're going to be talking about the roster because the final cuts are tomorrow. All right.
Cool.
That's going to be good because she's just a ball of fire, that one, man.
Shay, Queen of the North, is one of our faves. She just started her own channel, too. Check that out. Queen of the North. She's awesome. She's just getting started. Give her a chance. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment on her, too. We'll see her this Thursday in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Until then, guys, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Bears.
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 Bears.